Not the Chuddle.
Chuddle. Surprise.
I have a real soft spot for evil.
Blood flying everywhere.
So good.
I'm a big boy who doesn't get scared.
Out of the mist and into the fog, it's Chuddle the Pod.
Welcome, childish, chuckish, cultish club members, to a brand new meeting of the Chuddle the Pod Horror Movie Club. Tonight, we gather to discuss 2017's Cult of Chucky. My name is Bryan. I'm, of course, joined by my beautiful co-occupant of the pod, Sam.
What's up, player?
Thanks for joining me here tonight.
Thank you for having me join you here tonight.
It's always my pleasure. Ross, how are you? I guess you're not feeling too good. We'll let you be quiet on this one here, but thanks for joining us.
Drugged. Just slightly on Molly.
You don't sound like that on Molly.
We always keep him in the corner, even if he can't be here. So, those beautiful voices you hear chiming in are our amazing, beautiful Chucky connoisseurs of childish play and such. The Horror Bandwagon, Cody and Sergio. Thanks for joining me.
I truly was waiting for the O. I was like, oh, he's scared to say the O. No. Hello.
It's a callback.
Hello. We are happy to be here.
Thanks for coming to the end.
This is the end. This is
to the end with us, friends.
This is the series finale of our collaboration.
Well,
we will no longer be on Chuddle the Pod after this.
Well, at least until next season. I did not realize that this movie came out so recently.
Yeah, 2017, baby.
17, right? That is 7 years ago now.
Oh,
just to say it's not that
isn't
recent.
that crazy?
It sounds a lot more recent than it might be.
2017. Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, I can't wait to dive into this one because this was a first time watch for Cody.
Mm-hmm.
And
excited. Me too. We'll get to it, but
has
me too.
Connected a lot of things
We
for
probably
him.
knew that going in. We talked about that on our last one.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, he was a little upset actually after watching it, being like, this makes sense.
Like, I wish I'd have seen this before watching.
Yeah, a lot of things.
That was kind of why I stopped watching the show. Was I was like, it seems like I'm definitely
missing a lot
for sure.
Same.
Yeah. So whenever that really kicked off, which I think was around end of the first season,
it felt like.
Second season.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely finished season 1, so I think it was a couple episodes into season 2. I was like, I gotta come back to this.
I think we did the same thing, but we'll keep that spoiler free for now, and everything else spoiler free up top, and we'll let you know when those spoilers drop. And don't forget, certainly, about our beautiful Patreon, our coven of witches, which we love to thank for their sacrifice, giving us life, and we're thanking their beautiful souls
and youth
because they are amazing people. And we got some new coven members. One name is still brewing. It's still in the witch's hat brewing. We're trying to get some stuff there, but we do have another one. So we want to say a big shout out and thank you to the freshly brewed Ouija Wood, the clown witch of Chuddle Hood. I didn't say that in a way that sounded good.
The clown witch of Chuddle Hood.
My cadence was really weird. It
kind of sounded like you were.
I was kind of finding my words.
You were making it up as you went, but it sounded all correct.
Great. We'll take all of that. Now that one was brewed up. We got one coming for another witch. We want to say thank you so much for joining up. It's coming. Yeah. That's what we do.
And thank you, Ouija Wood. Thank you so much. Shout out.
I love these names that you come up with.
All of our coven members.
How do you come up with these names?
That's Ouija Wood on Instagram.
Well, that's the thing. We reached out to him because this is one of our beautiful patrons that found the podcast somehow and was like, you guys are cool. Let's sign up.
Yes.
I mean, realistically, having this mix of people that we've known in real life versus this mix of people that we have no idea is such a amazing, humbling, fun, awesome part of this journey to go on. So we thank all of you. But he was one of those. So Sam actually reached out to him and was kind of like, "Hey, man,
what do you want to?
How would you like to be
referred?
What
should we use as the basis
we're trying to reach out.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, we're trying to reach out at this point to see how we can kind of I don't know, model their name after it.
That's awesome.
In the beginning, we were just coming up with rhymes and doing whatever. I mean, that's why you guys are the Witchy Wish Dragon. Like,
I actually thought that you like sat in a circle and was just like mad-libbing it like around.
I mean, that's what we essentially do at this point.
Kind of become like that. Yeah, now it's always going to be a certain kind of witch of something. At this point, it's kind of developed a formula.
What are we something or are we?
The Witchy Wish Dragon.
Oh yeah,
the Horror Bandwagon, the Witchy Wish Dragon. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Now it's coming back to me.
Travis was the first, shout out to the Nightclub podcast, was the first one to patronize us. Shout out to Fun with Horror podcast.
Oh yeah.
I think Paul the Ditch Witch is the first.
Well, maybe he was the first one. He was definitely, that's where the witch name came from. Paul may have been. You're right. But somehow he said Travis Maxwell Boone, the Witch Doctor of Doom.
Mm.
And so then we gave Paul Lich the Ditch Witch.
Voila.
And here we are today having a page.
So join 369. All of those will get you a witch name. All of those will get you some extra content. And all of those are a good time with us. So thank you so much.
And thank you so much.
We love you. But all that's out of the way. Thanks for listening to us, because we got to get into the Cult of Chucky now. All the club members are present. We're all accounted for. Let's open up the goo bug and officially begin tonight's meeting.
Give me that goo. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Every time there's always something new you get.
I just feel it. I felt that one. I felt the goo in that moment.
You're going to be able to start like being able to tell the age of a Chuddle the Pod podcast by the number of rings of Sergio's woos at the beginning.
Yeah, for sure. There's going to be, we're going to keep building it up. Yeah. I love it. So
I wonder what's next.
I wonder what's next.
Be 80 still gooing.
That's the dream, right? Oh my god. Still gooing at 80. That's the bumper sticker too. When I'm 80 and I'm still gooing, I want that on whatever we transport around. I don't know if we're still a species on this earth.
A hoverboard or no?
That's a dream, and I would love to have it. So
living underground in our rat caves.
Wherever I can have it, I'm putting that sticker, my rat cave sticker. Get your rat cave stickers.
Let's do some lines.
Hey,
it's time to hit up.
Not only is it not gone forever, it's now the drop.
Yeah, man. We got our log line and our taglines for this episode. Chucky returns to terrorize his human victim, Mika. Meanwhile, the killer doll has some scores to settle with his old enemies with the help of his former wife. I hate this log line. I mean, it explains a lot, but it's terrible. The wording, like it doesn't let you have fun with the anything.
No.
Yeah. Makes it seem like certain aspects are more important than they are to the story.
Certainly. Yeah. But needless to say, IMDb for you.
Yeah.
Taglines only has 2 coming from IMDb as well. Friends till the end. Remember? Is the first one there?
I like that.
Don't forget about us. We're not gone.
That's good for Chucky fans. You know what I mean?
It's kind of perfect, especially being an almost
good for the diehards.
I don't want to say bookend, but where it kind of sits as it is now. And kind of pulling.
Oh yeah.
And you may feel a little prick. Get it? I mean, all the syringes and needles in the movie, you'd have to see in the movie to understand that. I mean, maybe the poster.
He's a prick.
And he's probably got a little prick.
Oh, I was going to say, like,
yeah, it's
that
like
feels like it should be in like Seed of Chucky.
Right.
And not this movie.
Now he'd say you're gonna feel a big prick.
That reminds me, I was thinking about these movies and how it's Cult and Curse, and they both start with CU. I was like, what was the last one before this? I was like, oh, it's Seed of Chucky. Of course, you know what they should have called it. It's Come of Chucky.
Oh, yes.
Cummy time of Chucky.
Curse and Cult.
Yeah. Cummy with the dummy.
Coming with the dummy.
That's it.
That's wholesome.
That's very wholesome. I love it.
I also only just realized today that all the Chucky movies are of Chucky movies. That's how with it I am.
Seed of Chucky.
Bride of, Seed of, Cult of. I just
lots of it.
Yeah, like I got it with the first two, and with the second two, I guess I just didn't realize that all of the Chucky movies, for some reason,
Chucky.
I just grouped them separately.
Huh? Makes sense. Well, I mean,
this brain.
I don't know. That's brain doing wild things. So if you're wondering who made this one, why your brains be wildin' in, this is Don Mancini again, writing and directing.
Homeboy. Oh, yeah.
Mancini himself.
Coming in with a lot of his ideas.
I was thinking, you guys, I want to reach out to him now that we're done and see if we can get him on. And if we can, you guys should come on.
Well, yeah.
Oh, my God. Yes, please. We want to meet him finally.
Yes.
All right, we're putting it out there. If anyone out there in the world has some Don feelers out there, send them this way. We're going to make it happen.
Put on your failures.
I want to feel that Don.
We're going to make it happen. All right, who's in?
And he might be able to get you that Tilly officiating.
Yeah, right. We got to do this quick then, so we got to be on it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's
all right,
true.
we're going to work this week, I guess. All right, we're going to start hitting the Twitter.
I'll reach out to him tomorrow.
All right.
I know you're probably booked and busy, but
what time you got? We're there. Writing in this one, starring in this one, we have Alex Vincent returning as Andy, Brad Dourif as the voice of Chucky, with Fiona Dourif as Nika. I don't know why, like on IMDb, Allison Dawn Doiron, Rachel, Andy's like date is like the first listed on IMDb. I'm like, why is she so prominent? I was expecting.
I saw that on IMDb. They're listed as in an order of appearance.
Oh,
okay.
Then that makes sense.
That makes more sense.
I was expecting going into this too, when I was just looking at her cast real quick, like I was expecting this Rachel character a lot more, and then she's like, I'm out almost right away. Anyway, Michael Terriault as Dr. Foley, Zach Santiago as Nurse Carlos, Ali Tatarin as Nurse Ashley, Maria Stephenson Kerr as Angela, Adam Herding as Michael, Gracelyn Kung as Claire, Elizabeth Rosen as Madeline, Jennifer Tilly as Tiffany as well, and other people sprinkled in there. Don't forget.
So obviously we know Jennifer Tilly from prior movies,
from her Tillys,
and Fiona Dourif from prior movies,
and Alex Vincent
from prior movies. But also, what's his name? Adam Turig,
Hertig,
multiple Marcus. Yeah, he's the cop that gets his throat slit by Jennifer Tilly at the end of the last one.
There's a few people that are
like at the jail, who's at the court and like watching things happen when Fiona Dourif gets sent away.
I didn't make that connection because my thought process while watching this movie was awful.
Different
because
characters but same actor.
Well, I was just like, hey, this guy kind of attractive. Let me look him up. Oh, what's his name? Oh, that's cool. Let me go to his Instagram. I went to his Instagram. I stalked him a little bit, then realized he was promoting Curse of Chucky at some point. I'm like, why would that be? And he also has tons of pictures with Don Mancini. And then that's how I found out that he was in the previous movie. And I was like, oh shit. And this marks the official first use of Don Mancini using the same actors a few times,
bringing them back. Yeah, I got you.
Well, yeah,
different characters and stuff. Yeah.
Different
There's
roles.
A few in here.
The actress that delivers Chucky
is
at the end of the last movie is Nurse Ashley,
the nurse.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of theirs and
fun stuff.
A bunch of theirs.
Mancini family.
That's it. So that's what I'm saying. Once
family.
We meet him, we're in.
Yeah,
we're in. Yeah.
Once we're in, exactly. And then you might be dead on screen.
Oh,
Cody, you might be able to say something. Perfect. We're gonna get there. We're gonna make something happen here. All right, let's go ahead and ask this big question. Or it's not a question.
Time for the door.
Fatality.
Is it time for
that's the next drop. We're not doing that yet.
For the gore.
I don't know what questions are. On a scale from 1 to 10, here's a statement for you. On a scale of 1 to 10, Psycho the Sadness, how gory is the film? Consistency, intensity. I mean, I put consistency maybe around like a 3 at most.
Yeah.
2.5 maybe.
It is gorier.
Intensity, I put like 4.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say consistency 2, and I think I'd say intensity 3.5. Can I give half points?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that puts it at 5.5.
Okay, yeah.
Cody and I are dead on, which to me says that Cody is way desensitized.
I know what is going on. Oh my god!
So I gave it a 6.5.
I blame Terrifier.
That'll do it too. That's true. That does a lot. You haven't seen the sadness yet.
That's also true.
You're gonna watch him be like, "What?
What's the big deal?"
I didn't realize how
gory.
I didn't realize how like not consistent. Like it was pretty spread out the kills that we have. But when we do have them, they're pretty gnarly. So I think I'm gonna wait. What you fit?
That's why I'm at 2 and 3.5.
I did 2 consistency, 3.5 on intensity.
Nah, I'll do 2. 2 for consistency. 4 for the other one. There you go. That's me.
No, that's great. I mean, I'm the highest on this one. I went 6.5, a 2.5, and a 4. But I mean, I could waiver those.
Ross
that's fine. Yeah, it'd be Ross.
Too bad that he's what did we say he was having?
He's on Molly right now in the corner.
He's on Molly right now. Well, now we know. Don't take it 5 minutes before recording.
We don't need to call like a doctor or something.
He seems to be fine. He's licking the wall. All right, time for this next statement.
Who is the horror forward?
This question asks, what kind of subgenre does this belong to? How should we watch it? Is it for beginners? Should you know anything going in before this? Slasher?
Supernatural slasher.
I fucking threw that in there too for Ross, and he's not even,
Always.
he's over in the fucking corner doing Molly, blowing up. Like, yeah, supernatural. It's funny because IMDb, I think, has that listed as supernatural slasher as well.
Oh, nice.
Ooh,
but yeah.
Man, he's missing. He just can't. He's in another world.
He's blowing up.
Sorry, bud.
Ross is not really doing Molly at the moment.
Just disclaimer. A quick
we don't know
disclaimer
that.
to everybody.
I mean, that's very true
But
too.
this is a bit.
But this is a bit.
I was gonna say because not that I, of course, have any personal experience with Molly, because that would definitely not be true. But
I do.
I
do.
so do
for the
I.
bit,
I'm trying
I
to be. But my experience has always been chattier than normal.
Sure.
I'm a lot more. So maybe that's not what Ross is on. So maybe Ross is like.
So what is Ross?
Heroin.
Oh God.
Or rabies. Because how he sounds, he's like, has rabies. Maybe.
Oh my God.
Ooh.
He's on ketamine.
Jesus
Okay.
Christ.
Oh yeah, that ketamine would line up with
He's
the
in a
noises that
K-hole.
were being made at the beginning of this.
He's gargling a little bit like.
Just make sure he doesn't throw up and start.
Oh no!
Somebody keep an eye on
What a
it, please.
tangent! What
Okay,
a
so
tangent we have gone on.
we gotta burp Ross for a little bit.
Hey, somebody go burp Ross and I'll reel this back in to the supernatural slasher. I think how should we watch this one? It's a tough question, I feel.
Interesting. Yeah.
I think
This
this
is
is
a
equally
tough one.
enjoyed alone and in a group.
Agree.
You should have.
Yeah.
I think you should have a room full of Chucky fans. I need people who enjoy the Chucky movies to watch this with.
Okay.
I feel like this is a good afternoon movie, like at home, like
Catching this on whatever
weekend,
fucking probably premiered on.
Yeah, Sunday afternoon or whatever.
Netflix,
yeah,
but-
exactly.
Yeah.
Sci-fi. It's on sci-fi.
Like, yeah.
I just know it.
Right? It's a perfect sci-fi movie. Catching the fucking
Mhm.
early morning.
Totally.
You wake up at 8 a.m. for some reason, or even earlier, and like a Bride of
yeah.
Chucky's on, and then by mid-afternoon you're getting to the curse over here, or cult, and yeah, you just work your way through that. I think that'd be fun.
I would say that I think if we're going to say this is a sci-fi movie, because sci-fi is not exactly known for quality movies, I would say that there's
Well,
a
it
bangers
would
over
be
there.
played on sci-fi. not that
I
it
would
was-
say, but I was going to say primetime, a sci-fi primetime movie.
Oh,
So
sure.
6 o'clock.
Yeah.
6 o'clock
Okay.
prime
You
time.
guys are saying
This is-
I don't think it's a sci-fi original.
No,
I
I'm
would put that
pretty sure it started on Netflix because there was some quote
It went straight to Netflix.
because it got leaked
Oh, wait, no,
like
maybe
2
not.
weeks beforehand. There's some IMDb behind the scenes real quick. It was leaked like 2
shit.
weeks beforehand on the internet. And I forget, it was like Alex or Don. One of them said something like, I think it's kind of ridiculous that it gets leaked when it's just going to be on Netflix in like 2 weeks. Like you just watch it there or
Damn.
whatever. But you know how it goes. The internet, pirates, all that kind of nonsense.
The leakers.
scary.
It's a scary waters out there. Is this one for beginners?
It could be, but I would never
Be like
recommend
start
it to
with.
a
I
the
don't
last
think I
Chucky
would
movie.
recommend. No.
Right.
This one
Because
has
some
so
of these
much
sequels,
lore.
and
Mhm.
some of the sequels I feel like you could recommend as a starter movie.
But this one's so based
Not
on
this
a lot of different things.
Yeah,
to really.
you really need to know a lot of the stuff that happened before it for it to kind of make sense. But even if not, if I just like turn my brain off, I think.
I mean, I think that you enjoy the movie more if you know the lore that's going on behind it. But I don't know that I would say that like some horror movies are not what I would show somebody for their first horror movie. And I don't think that this is on that list.
I wouldn't put it because I think the concept and the topics
So
get a little wild.
So you're saying
that-
that you don't want this to be the standard bearer for somebody who has never seen a single Chucky movie before. Say,
Yeah.
oh, this is a Chucky movie.
Yeah.
correct.
Anything to know before going in on this one? I don't think. I think it kind of keeps the similar tone-ish of the last one by trying to add more Chucky flavor.
I would say to know that the main actress that Nika's character is it's not like a standalone movie. You know, she carries over from the prior one and
Right.
the whole history.
That would be my.
I don't necessarily think you need to have seen Curse to watch Cult, but I think maybe a helpful little summary of
Something.
where known characters are at would be.
That'd be a good.
I don't have one for you now, but it would be nice.
Perfect. I don't want one.
Perfect.
We want to just move right on to our man outside the window, fapping away, looking on
yeah,
in.
brother,
That is the
too.
Mothman.
Oh.
Coming in with any warnings for us here. I'd say there's definitely a strobing light at one moment. So
Oh, yeah.
that's a big.
And I would say
big warning.
sexual assault as well. I mean,
Yes.
Oh,
Immediately
yes.
following.
Something I totally forgot was the thing. And I was like, okay.
Yes, yeah, certainly. Other than that, I think it.
Can't think of anything.
I don't
yeah.
have any huge things going in. Maybe it's not necessarily that you see self-harm, but there's self-harm implications and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
That could be a little bit. But let's move on in to this special little place. Spoiler zone. Let's start off with IMDb behind the scenes, a little bit about what this movie got going on behind it. The second film in the series to be released directly at home video, so Netflix, as we said, following Curse of Chucky
Right.
in 2013. So if you're curious, yes,
The other one was
Curse of Chucky.
home. It
But-
was just home video,
Oh.
or was it a TV? Was it a network thing?
That I don't have the information
The one
on.
with this.
But I assume it was probably, I
remember.
really don't know if it was like a straight to DVD thing. But for this one on the commentary, Don Mancini reveals that giving all 3 Chuckies a subtle difference was a studio executive decision to help differentiate them in the film. During production, the Chuckies were nicknamed Buzzcut, Ragamuffin, Edwardian, and Evil Dead.
Not ragamuffin.
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 And a little buzz cut there. So this is also the first film where Chucky is successful in transferring his soul to another human body. Also, it is implied that the
Sure.
transfer scene at the end of the Curse of Chucky was successful. So this is the first time we see him and bit bopping and moving around and putting that soul all sorts of places.
It's cool. I like the 3. I especially like the 3 Chuckies at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I like our Chucky look in this one.
Great Chucky look.
It's a little better looking. I like how everything has the rubbery look to it. It was interesting. I was watching some of Life with Chucky before coming on here, and after just I watched this for the second time today, seeing how differently they like his face looked and everything from the Child's Play movies to now.
Oh yeah.
Well, quite striking.
I really liked many of the scenes where you kind of see the Chucky doll as the Chucky doll, but like without like an unbroken edit or anything, you see it transform into exactly. Like you see the brows move, like we don't cut away, we like see it full on, which I'm like, wow, we've come a long way.
These are amazing.
Look at
Chucky
this technology.
Mm-hmm.
But I also love the twist that Chucky is successful a few times. You know, he's kind of now
bip up and
more chaotic as ever. Yeah, exactly. Which I think the series needed it.
I really like
Invasion of the Chucky Snatchers.
And I really like that it introduces this concept of like he could be in anyone. That like this whole movie, you're not quite sure. Is it this doll or that doll? Is it both dolls? Right. Is it neither doll? And something that now that we're in the spoiler zone that I can say, one of my theories from watching this movie is that they are trying to subtly hint what bodies, because I guess we need to include the dolls in this, are possessed by one of either Chucky or Tiffany's souls. Because this movie is very like monotone and bleak.
Oh yeah,
color standpoint.
Besides like Chucky,
for anything that is possessed, the dolls are bright red. Nika, from the minute that she's possessed, is either wearing the red shoes or the red scarf to indicate that she has a soul in her. Tiffany is the first example where you really see it because she's in a bright red coat. When everything around her is white, which I think was really interesting. I didn't truly notice until we got to the end of the movie that I was like, oh, we're using color to show who is regular and who is possessed.
That's very cool. I noticed the difference in color. I didn't pick it up. I should have with Jennifer Tilly because it's so in your face.
Yeah.
I only noticed it like with the Chucky characters. So really, it was just, hey, everything's colorless except Chucky. I didn't transfer that on to other possessed soul characters. It's a interesting visual fall.
I like this. I like the steps that they're taking in this one.
But I think the thing that is most interesting from it is that we have this fake out with the one guy whose personality keeps changing.
Yeah.
When he says he's Charles, and we later find out that he actually was not truly possessed by the soul. He was never in a bright color the whole time that he was identifying as Charles.
Yeah.
So at the time, I'm like, I mean, in my notes, I got taken by that fake out, but I think it's interesting looking back that it's like, if you were to piece that together, you would know the whole time that it's not true.
Sure.
Right.
Sure. Of course. No, that'd be interesting to watch on a rewatch, looking at those facts. Because on my second time around, I was looking at his character and kind of how he was acting more so, as opposed to any sort of kind of color cues.
Once you know.
Right, exactly. Once you know. So that's all I have for the behind the scenes. Let's just get into this movie discussion. History real quick. Haven't seen it. First time.
Haven't seen it. First time.
Cody, I believe, is the same. And Sergio?
I've seen it once before, and I remember not liking it, and I was like, boo. And now I was like,
boo.
Do you take that as a rating? Can I just say that?
I was like, but now I'm like, sure.
What do you think of it, Ross?
Thanks, buddy.
Really hitting now.
Thanks, buddy. He's really in that K-hole. Thanks, bud. Thanks for coming. So this movie starts with Andy. So we're right back into showing some Andy right away. He's on a date, a really awkward, terribly acted date. And he's asking like, oh, yeah, you Googled me.
This got to be the first scene they
filmed or something. Andy's
right?
fresh out of not acting for a long time or something.
When we see him later in the movie, he's not. It's not this bad.
Yeah, this is awkward.
He was certainly better when he was 6.
He was very good.
Yeah, he played a really cute kid really well.
Yeah, this is where we get that Rachel character
This opening
I talked about in that IMDb. I don't know. This is just to set up Andy's back in the world. He might be a gun nut or something. And he kind of goes off explaining his, like, you know, I was terrorized and all these people died around me and all these crazy deaths happened. My babysitter. She's
And then
like,
she wasn't
this is-
about it.
Other people were
she's
killed.
like, this is a little much. I can't. I mean, I don't know how early on in the relationship they are, but I mean, it's probably smarter for her to get out earlier rather than to stick it out if she knows she can't handle this. It's better for both of them.
I do get like, I wonder if it's a hit to Aunt Karen. No, not Aunt Debbie. What's her face?
Oh,
the babysitter.
Jeez. Yeah. What about
In
her?
the first movie.
Yeah.
Quiz
Right?
time.
Oh,
what's
no.
what's her
I failed.
name? But like, she saw her like he referred to her as the babysitter, and I was like, "Man, that was your mom's best friend.
The babysitter
True.
got it.
Right.
He took care of you."
Then a bunch of other broads got knocked off. Like, whoa, Andy. Rachel's like, there's a few
Andy,
more
I know
reasons.
that you're scarred.
than I think we need to end this
What does he say?
relationship.
He says she was a bitch that deserved to die. He says her name there, right?
Oh, sure.
Chucky says that.
I'm sure, but we could figure that out.
Whatever.
Harold?
Yeah.
No.
This takes us to done with the relationship. Andy's going back to his fucking isolated cabin in the middle of nowhere amongst a whole bunch of taxidermy, and we see his shit ton of guns. So it's more than a couple, like he said. Oh, I just have a couple.
Yes. Way more than a couple.
He's got a fucking arsenal.
Yeah.
He pulls this framed Kent Military Academy sweater off the wall. Shout out Child's Play 3.
Shout out to the worst.
Nice
Child's
little
Play
reference.
And
movies.
the one without Alex Vincent in it.
Yep.
So
But it did have that sexual awakening guy in it. What was it?
Yes, it did have my crush in there.
pulls that off the wall. We see a safe. He opens that up, and we get this really cool, fucked up, decapitated Chucky head in there with its eyeball kind of like wiggling around, so you know it's alive. And he pulls it
I
out.
thought this was so cool.
I was like, oh, okay. I was like, fuck
This
yeah.
is so cool. I want a replica of it
Yeah.
because
The
it's
prop
just
from the
so-
film, I already calling. Yeah, this
Ugh.
is it.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
we can share it. You know, we'll get every third Thursday.
Yeah, we'll
and
send it around. Yeah.
This is the Brotherhood of the Traveling Chucky head.
Seasonal.
I like that. The Brotherhood of Traveling. You pair that up with Sisterhood of Traveling Pants. It'll be a nice little.
There
thing
you
together.
go.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Now wait, this is the one Chucky. See, okay, my whole thing is that I want to track to like how his souls are traveling, because I'm like, what is the original Chucky that we like have grown to know
This
and
one.
love?
I don't know.
I believe it's this
'cause
one.
It's this one.
Well,
at the
Okay.
end of the last one, right? A Chucky gets shipped to her, to the girl.
Yes, and possesses
And-
Alice.
Yes, but if assuming it's like this, then he just
put it into.
split off, and now there was two of them, and then this doll went to Andy and got shot in the face.
Got
Right.
it. So this is the one that terrorized Nika.
Yes. And essentially
Yes.
our OG Chucky, or OG to
Yeah, it is essentially
As OG as it can
as
get, right?
original as it gets. Yeah,
the one that's always been
Okay.
like
And then he's-
reanimated somehow and always
Animated
come
and brought
back.
Yeah,
So this is, yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
I'm on board.
So fucking Andy decides to light up a joint and hang out with Chucky.
This I did
and
not.
let
I did
him
not
puff
understand.
on it too, like share the joint.
Yeah.
with him.
He was like, "Let me get a hit
I
of that."
mean,
Like, why would you let him take a hit of your joint?
Thought he'd maybe burn him with it or something. Like,
Yeah. Also, how does Chucky cough without like a diaphragm to
or
do the
get
coughing?
stoned if there's no lungs to absorb.
He goes to his brain directly. Does he have a brain?
Not in
That's what
this.
he goes straight to the dome.
maybe he was just trying to get that bite in all along. He was just trying to get a little nibble, and this was his way in. He's like, I'm not going to get high. This doesn't do anything, but doll logic. I mean, we got to follow that a little
Sure.
bit here. No lungs, but you can pull in some air. Sure. So he does like try to like take a little nibble at Andy as he fucking pulls the joint away. So Andy's like, oh, you want to play? And he goes over to his fucking cool drawer of knives that has like one of those like Wolverine knives.
Torture devices, Wolverine punching knives.
What was that? I was like, is this a reference to Wolverine or Freddy Krueger?
Oh my god,
No, that's an actual thing.
Oh yeah, that's right. We grew up in Florida.
Friends with like a sword kid.
Right, sword kids always had them, but you could also always like
sword.
At least in Florida, you could always
like
always had a
swords
katana.
and watch a lot of anime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally.
Man.
You could win these at the fair.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god, like I need me one of those then.
Yeah, go down to
Need
Florida.
some extra protection.
You got a lot of freedom down here, boys.
Winning fucking Wolverine claws at the county fair.
That's crazy.
And they're
I
real.
would have used that though.
They're like those things will kill someone. Like if you really wanted to.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
I would always see them like there used to be always this. Yeah, like almost like a sword, but was also sell like Asian like rugs
like
and
stars.
Ornaments and like then like stars
wow.
or like a store in the mall.
Maybe
Like,
wearing
but then they would also have Wolverine like fucking knife gloves.
Easily affordable.
I don't. Oh, I do remember that sword story. Yeah. They definitely had throwing stars because I got some there. Probably right before I went over to Spencer's to get a blacklight poster
And check out some booby posters.
like good middle school.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
And laugh at the
vibrators. The sex toys in the back.
Go get some Jolt Cola at the Auntie Anne's.
Thanks for traveling back in time with us, everyone.
Cinnamon pretzels.
So back to Chucky here. He does this whole, want to play thing and pulls out a blowtorch and just starts burning the shit out of Chucky. And he's like, haha, Chucky's freaking. He's loving
Torturing him.
We get to burn in. Opening credits. I said, I don't like them. That's my note for the opening credits. I just did not. They feel weird and out of place and just kind of.
I just think they're just so bright. I was like,
They feel so TV movie-ish.
Oh, for sure. Lifetime TV
like
original movie. Yeah.
Well, it's like even the opening shot of like the establishing shot outside the restaurant they're having the date on looks horrendous.
Yeah.
I don't know why it looks so bad. Is it like
stock footage or something?
Rendered or stuff layered on top of other things, like the building doesn't look.
It was probably daytime. They were trying to make it look nighttime, so they put a bunch of filters on it to change some stuff around. Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff in the beginning. So that's what I was kind of up and down with it. Like, so I was like, it looks weird at some points, but then we get awesome fucking Chucky head. But then he's like offering him a joint. I'm like, what is happening?
It's very discombobulated at the very beginning.
But that Chucky head got me so on board with it. I thought that thing was cool. I was like, at least with our.
I do like the cabin. The cabin itself looks very cozy.
Oh, that is a cozy cabin.
I liked the idea of Andy keeping a Chucky head that he was just like fucking with.
That is pretty great. Yeah, exactly. It just adds to his trauma.
How about his mom feel though? I mean, he has contact with his mom. Is his mom cool with this?
Good point.
I mean, I was going to ask how he afforded this little cottage in the woods filled with a ton of very expensive looking guns and a secret wall safe.
I didn't mention it. Don Mancini has said at some point that Andy apparently has gotten a bunch of insurance money from like the toy company or from somewhere. He apparently that was his way to explain it off was lawsuit shit. Yeah. So he just has a bunch of money to fund his cabin in the woods, gun locker, like
he has tried to be killed by this toy 3 times,
and like probably wrongfully accused, slandered, all this kind of stuff with it, and I'm sure you got some bank out of that. So after these opening credits that I do not like, we get introduced back to Mika. She is laying on some sort of medical table, getting zapped the fuck out of with some electrotherapy shit. Like they're just going for it. And then they're like pricking her feet, being like, yeah, she can't feel, she's a pincushion. She can't feel anything. I know, right? Like,
I know.
Oh my
what
God.
What a way to talk about her. From the waist down, she's a pincushion. Prick her foot.
This whole movie takes that kind of B movie, old school mental hospital, orderlies are all bad type of vibe to it. It has that, especially right away.
Well,
with her
except
feeling
for
Carlos.
Yeah,
For sure.
it's like the
Carlos
nice
is the man. Carlos, I love Carlos. I thought he was a really good character.
No, he's great. I mean, I agree.
I mean, actually,
he's not, and here are the reasons why.
he's a dick.
You're wrong.
I will say though, there are moments of this movie that do remind me of Nightmare on Elm Street Dream Warriors, but very not at the same time.
Sure.
But like their whole like circle where they're like talking to each other in that room kind of remind me
The
of
group
it,
therapy.
just without the
Mm-hmm.
It's
yeah,
like
just without
mental hospital.
yeah, it's the same thing.
This
But
is how they're depicted.
Right.
there's someone in a wheelchair in there too.
Oh, you're right.
Sure.
We start to
Right.
get this like VO of Nika talking about Chucky that leads to her actually talking with her psychologist, and he explains to her basically she thinks she's made great progress. She's finally able to get out of this maximum security facility she's in.
Oh, they said Mexican. Mexican.
They transferred her
Mexican
down to
security
Mexico.
I was like, oh, okay. Breaking out of prison.
Yeah, they're getting into her a medium security facility at this point.
I was a little confused by this personally, because I thought at the end of the last movie she was determined to be not guilty by reason of insanity. So then she gets put in a criminal detention place.
Criminally insane, maybe.
The criminally insane criminal lair.
Maybe it's like based on how much of a physical threat you are.
Yeah.
But the real weird thing is that guy would be her doctor there if he's the doctor at this other place already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
This doctor who's like, yeah, you get to move to this other facility now.
Wouldn't get to follow
and that
her.
other facility is where his office is and where all
Right.
his other patients
Yeah.
are.
He's been coming out here. I mean, I guess he has some sort of fixation with her. Maybe it's just like
I mean, that could
maybe the
that-
maximum security
would-
place doesn't have resident doctors. They pull him in from around, and he's
Yeah.
I mean,
Was
that
in
could
the
be
area.
possible.
And so he's like, I'm going to send you to my place where I can really diddle you.
Oh,
I mean, he ain't wrong.
Essentially.
That's essentially all he wants. So
the word
learned that
diddle
soon
just
enough.
sends shivers
Diddle.
down my spine.
it's
It's like
It'll
when
get in
Because
ya.
of P. Diddy.
Oh
it's like
my
when
God,
people say
P-diddle.
porking. I hate that.
Say what?
When people say porking, like, oh,
Oh, interesting.
pork
And
them, or
like-
like we're porking. I'm like,
in a serious manner. Like if someone's like, "Yo, me and my lady were porking the other night." I don't know if I've ever had someone like seriously try to convey that to me, but that'd be fun.
You're going to pork till your ball bars.
Oh God.
yeah. Pork till your
I
balls
like
burst.
he
Wait,
always tries to manage to get that in with you guys now. He loves to get a good ball barfer mention.
ball barf will always be near and dear to my heart.
It's the worst one to me. I don't. It's so gross.
It's the alliterations great on it. It's
Right.
just
It
the,
really should have
the
been
bleh of
ball barf of
itself.
Chucky.
It almost has an onomatopoeia
Oh, yeah,
effect
right.
to it, right?
Yeah.
Onomatopoeia.
Rhino,
No.
ball barf,
Onomatopoeia.
bros.
What's when you
Rhino
say a
ball
thing that
barf.
sounds like a thing?
Well, that's onomatopoeia, but if the
That's the noise it makes, right, guys?
Yeah. Knock knock. Yeah. I'm like, oh god, oh god.
And then it goes
Ball barf.
Right? Please tell me.
Where you gonna?
if all I'm saying is if that's the
They're like,
sound
okay.
that is happening when that action is occurring, you should see a doctor.
Okay, I'm on
Maybe.
it. Maybe
It's your choice.
All right, Ross, let's go to a doctor.
So at this point, this brings us to the Harrogate facility. This is where Nika's being transferred to. It's like in the middle of fucking nowhere, dreary as fuck looking, like this fucking
Snowy. Again, they're bright white.
Mhm.
Bright
white.
Not
Always
only
bright
is there no color outside of these characters that we mentioned, the possessed characters, but it's like a stark white. It's bright. It's not gray. It's not like washed. I mean, it's washed out in the sense that it's too bright. It's not washed out in the sense that it's like color graded to be dull.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I think that it's supposed to evoke the sense of like you went from this facility, the like maximum security place that is probably not a lot of fun to be at, to somewhere that is like truly isolated from everything else, where it's ostensibly better in the sense that it's a lower security facility, so you have more personal freedom, but it doesn't matter if you can move around in the facility if like you cannot leave and go anywhere.
Right.
Definitely.
There's
Well,
nowhere to go.
according to the 2022 book A Reign of Chucky, the true Hollywood story of a not so good guy, the exterior for Harrogate Psychiatric Hospital was the now demolished public safety building in downtown Winnipeg.
Aw.
The interior, however, was a set built inside the Manitoba Production Center. It was constructed on the exact same spot where the Pierce House interior stood in Curse of Chucky. They just used the same place or whatever.
Oh shit, okay.
But yeah, so
Nice.
it's
See, where and that one looked more.
very dull and
Yeah, that was very
yes.
dull.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It was the color was still gone. It'd be interesting to go back and look now if
Sort of any.
Chucky had much character. I guess he really
Yeah, he
only
does.
possessed one, and then
He's got that
Yeah.
bloodshot eyes, all strung out, Chucky.
Well,
Love that guy.
and maybe that's another. Maybe I'm reading into it too much, but maybe that's another like contrast that we're supposed to see with this movie. That I feel like everything in Curse was very dark and saturated, and now
Mhm.
everything is just bleached and clinical and like unfeeling. So you're really supposed to know, like
sterile.
you're not at home. Yeah, sterile is a great word for it.
I would think there is probably a lot of meaning into a lot of things that we aren't even going to touch on here. It feels like, it feels like Don Mancini puts there's a lot of something behind a lot of these shots here. I feel like
Yeah.
As silly as it is overall, there is that clearly thought put behind
exactly.
this stuff.
And I like, a lot of the cinematography in this one, the framing, it kind of has a similar feel to Curse of Chucky, but still feeling kind of trying to pull us more into the world of the Chucky that we're familiar with, not that weird reboot thing they were trying to do with the reboot from before. Nika's getting acquainted with her room, and this is when we're introduced to our nurse Carlos. They seem to have a little bonding moment, even though he says he doesn't like her, but he does leave her some gum. So that's real nice.
Immediately I was like, I wonder if that's a nod to One Who Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And then later, I'm like, oh, yeah, for sure, because it's juicy fruit gum.
Exactly. You got it. Nika then starts to explore the facility, and we start to see what this place looks like on the inside. And this is where I have the note: stark white walls, devoid of most colored anywhere. It's a really cool set too. I mean, I just like the layout and how everything looks. So what you can
Very
do.
simple. It's stylized enough to not feel real, but feel okay, feel like you're in another world. And it's clearly also, though, like, seems like they had almost no budget. Because it's a
Spend
good
it
way
all
to,
on the dolls, probably.
Yeah.
Right. It's a good way to make it look, again, I think they did a good job making it look like they had more than they did,
Sure.
which I guess I said about the last one as well. So must be something about these direct
Well, it's a
TV ones.
And it's single location. The last one is a single location. Obviously, we're still filming in the same fucking warehouse or whatever it is, as opposed to, you even look at Seed of Chucky and Bride of Chucky. They're moving around a lot more.
Yeah.
In different places.
A lot more.
I always thought this place looked very futuristic to me. I was like, I feel like I'm in a future world.
Future sterile world. I could see it in Doctor Who or some shit.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Which again is another show that tries to make their budget look bigger.
Right. With locations, framings, you can kind of just turn stuff around and you change the set a little bit here. So as Nika's exploring the facility, seeing what it looks like, she goes into a community room where we start to meet some of the other patients. This is where we first meet Angela, who believes she is dead. Can you see me? Oh, I don't want to scare you. So she's a fun little character. And then, next we meet someone named Michael. Nika and Michael start bonding. They start talking. She eventually trades some gum for a cigarette that he gets from Nurse Ashley. And that's when we get,
juicy fruit.
There it is. And then they bang.
They bang. I was not expecting that. I was like,
jarring.
I mean, part of me was like,
You weren't expecting that? I mean, I it didn't surprise me. They were clearly like flirting pretty hard. The gun thing seemed like
sure.
part of me was like, you know what, Nika, you deserve this. Get it, girl.
Oh, 100%.
I love that for you.
Oh yeah, I'm all for it.
It's been however many years she's been locked up, 4 years or something like that. I think they mentioned at some point. Yeah.
And I mean,
first chance.
Yep.
Meet this nice
she's an
Michael
attractive
fella.
lady.
And the last time that she even got close to a romantic prospect was the guy who was delivering Chucky in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
In Curse.
Right.
Mhm.
That was her
She's
one
waited a
chance
long
to go on a
time.
date, and that's the last
Exactly.
chance she's had at something. She's gonna take
I
us.
really like the Nika character.
I love
a
Nika.
lot.
So I was excited
Yeah.
to just have her in this. I think I like her as an actress. Fiona, I mentioned her, I think, last time in
Me too.
the Dirk Gently show. She plays a great
Mhm.
character.
said
At
she's
one
very
point,
funny.
she's like throwing her body around a little bit in this. I'd say kind of
Yes.
plays into that kind of stuff and is able to do a lot of cool stuff with that in Dirk Gently. If you want to see her just
I
play a fun
really
role.
want her to have a thriving career after this. We end up seeing more performances from her, not to like spoil anything, but like she truly is very committed to the craft and very gung-ho about a lot of things. Also, she just seems like a really fun person from the interviews that I've seen from her.
Yeah, that's
And she actually laughs like a Chucky doll when she like bursts out laughing. I'm like, oh my God, you sound
Oh,
like
her laugh.
I mean,
her natural laugh.
She
she
does
was
a great
born
job.
with it. I mean,
Mhm.
imagine like
Well, she grew up around it, right?
Yeah.
it's in genetics, right? It's in you.
Is it weird that I have a crush on her?
I like how
No,
all
I'll
of
tell
this
you
was
what's
leading
weird.
to,
No, I'm
I like her.
in the same boat as you, Sam. But like, what's weird is it being like at moments being like, you really look like your father.
It does. She does. She does.
And like,
does.
I'm like, I like her. I like her hair. I don't know. There's a lot going on.
Her hair, her face, her like sharp features. Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, let's go off into
skin.
Now, do you
Group
like her
therapy.
when she turns into Charles Lee Ray at the end?
yeah, love it.
I do.
Let's go.
I support it. I support this.
This leads us to this sort of group therapy session where we're introduced to more people hanging out that are at this facility. Claire, who's very skeptical of Nika, doesn't like her being here at all.
Oh yeah, from the
And-
get-go.
Yeah, calling it out like, there's no way a doll killed people. It was definitely you. Michael, he's in the therapy session, so he kind of defends Nika. They have a nice little exchange.
Yeah.
Nika starts talking about she was like, I was very ill. I'm better now and stuff like that. I was suffering from this sort of psychosis, kind of going over like the bullet points that she was pretty much taught through therapy, it seems like. And the therapist is obviously there. Claire really wants to know why Nika killed everyone. So she goes on explaining.
What is her problem? This lady?
Right? And so she starts talking about Alice, how she hopes she's okay. Angela interrupts saying, she's not okay. Chucky told me. He called me. He said to tell you he is coming for you.
Which actually happened.
And I like how Angela
It
commits
did
to
actually happen, but
yes.
I thought this was a fun, creepy moment.
It is.
Like it felt like something that happens in scary movies.
Mhm.
Especially with the way Angela kind of like raises herself up. Like she does like this almost like vampire kind of raise from off the couch that she's on if you look for it. Like I think she's very committed to that I'm a ghost bit still.
Those crunches.
It's just like I gotta rise like a ghost. So that, yeah, as you said, that's a nice little horror movie moment. Nika starts like laughing it off, and Claire's like, "Why would you laugh? This is crazy," and goes over and comforts Angela, who's kind of upset about the whole thing. Dr. Foley thinks he has something that can help everyone out. Pulls out a good guy doll. It's a Chucky doll. He got it from Hot Topic. Why is Chucky's voice so different sounding? It's to me, it sounds very different than his good guy voice.
I didn't notice
Is it deeper or is it
Something just sounds a little bit, I guess, why not just change it up a little bit? But I was expecting.
Hi, I'm Chucky, and I'm your friend to the end.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
something sounds just maybe a little bit more gravel or something. There's just something different. Maybe he forgot how to do the voice, but like something felt off to it about me. I noticed it at this point, and I noticed it again when one of the good guys dolls says something as well.
Yeah,
but okay, just threw me off. No, that's fine. I'm the fucking.
I just think. I mean, I get exposure therapy. I get exposure therapy can be kind of helpful, but I'm like, I mean, maybe this is just horror movie person who is watching this movie being like, don't do that. That is bad.
Well, and also exposure therapy, you want to just be like, and here it is. You would like talk about
that
how
you're
you
getting to this point,
lead up to it. All right, I'm about to get it out now. Like,
but this is not like this is so true.
Well,
also, I think
Dr. Diddle thinks a little bit differently about stuff.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
true. That's fair. I mean, but at this point, I think he
just wants to pour.
I'm going to stop being vulnerable on this podcast. Oh my God. No, but like at this point, we have gotten to a point where Nika my interpretation is that she just got to a point where she's saying, Chucky's not around. This is all good. But then like immediately it was like, actually, that's not fair. That's not fair. It's still triggering.
It's incredibly unfair. I think it's funny that he mentions that he gets it from Hot Topic, but he specifically went out and bought a Chucky one. He gives like these stats. Oh, 1 in 50 or whatever, you get a Chucky or something.
You can't find that in Hot Topic. No way.
Are Chucky's.
Yeah. Now this other patient though, Madeline, she gets up and starts saying, "Oh, Chucky's her baby," and like embraces him and wants to like keep him.
Yeah,
I'm like,
and what happened to her because she lost her baby?
Real crazy person.
Well, we ultimately learned that she had a child that she killed, but like, I don't know. Like, is this like maybe the doctor is trying to think? He's like, I got all these patients. I got this woman back at my hospital. She has this like child issue. I got Nika coming in. She's got this Chucky issue. Maybe I could just bring this doll in, knock out a few cases with one doll, and like kind of get everyone on board with the one thing.
I'm trying to take a vacation.
Get out of here.
Because everyone just like definitely reacts to this thing. But this does bring us to our next little scene, which is lunchtime. Madeline trying to feed Chucky. Yes.
Before we go on from that, this was like, I was really trying to like big brain this movie for a while.
All right.
And so like my theory going into this, and this scene really like spread it off, was like, this is called Cult of Chucky, right? So I'm expecting a like cult. I was starting to think in this scene that like this doctor is in on some whole big thing where they're trying, like there's a bunch of people all trying to collaborate to like resurrect Chucky's soul in a new doll or something like that.
Actually, I've never thought about that.
And so I was like, oh, it's super suspicious that he has this doll that's just for therapy purposes, and also just like happens to be one of the like 1 out of 50 or whatever that are called Chucky. And so I was like, oh, he's clearly just lying because they're trying to bring his soul back. And then
that would have been interesting because
now I'm thinking it's not the movie we got.
I would have still choose that kind of movie though.
It would have been nice to have. I was expecting at least one of the people to be the start or be in some sort of cult thing, working with Tiffany and Charles Lee Ray in some aspect. More of it and get that. You could have, like if you had more people, I even see them being as like devouts to Charles Lee Ray and offering their bodies to be possessed type of stuff. Like that, there's a lot of fun stuff you could have.
And then it would be kind of like the last one would be Nika, and she's kind of like by herself against a whole hospital full of Chucky possessed people. Chucks like a bunch of dolls and different people all like trying to hunt down Nika and maybe a couple others who aren't possessed or anything like that. So you can get killed. That could be that trigger something in me. Ooh. That's what I'm saying. Like that's a whole nother movie because I'm like, can that happen? Can people that we trust like to just like our psychiatrists just be like starting cults?
Can just be Chucky?
Brainwash us?
That's the scary
That's the real thing. I'm like, whoa.
The stuff that scares me most
in
movies is like the not knowing who to trust.
Yeah.
Stuff. people are conspiring.
I mean,
like,
cults scare me in
secret
general,
groups.
but that's another thing.
Same.
And I think you could have brought in some of the elements that we get at the end of the film into it sooner. And I think it could have been more fun with that. But at this lunchtime, Madeline trying to feed Chucky doll, but she's like, says he's full or some shit. Claire comes by, tries to take the doll away. She's the one that's got some shit. She's like, this isn't healthy for her to have this doll here and like dealing with. She's trying to get it away.
I didn't bring it here.
But Nika tries to stick up for her, scares her away, and giving the doll back to Madeline. Michael now introduces himself to Nika as Mark, and she's like, okay.
Nika's like, oh god, I just fucked this.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
that
That
realization.
look on her face.
Well, at first I thought like she was being rejected because I'm like, girl, I've been there. Lots of guys were like, who? Don't go.
No, I'm Mark. I'm not Michael.
I'm Mark. Never fucked you. Sorry.
There's never a Michael. So they're interrupted at this point, and Nika is told she has a visitor. And this is our visit with Tiffany.
Oh, and he has multiple personalities.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, Michael.
Yes.
Michael's in the pool right now.
Exactly.
Because he was Michael Phelps before. He's like, but because he says to her, he's like, oh, I've been looking forward to meeting you. I heard a lot about you from Michael.
Yeah. We learned his name is Malcolm. They call him Multiple Malcolm.
Yeah.
Multiple Malcolm. Oh no.
I like this actor. That actor.
yeah.
There's something about
That's
him.
fine.
Me too. I think I have a thing for gingers. I'm kind of realizing that on my butt.
Well, I have it in the beard, so
Yeah.
Perfect.
See,
it
this
was
makes
meant
sense.
to be. It makes
It was
sense.
meant
It
to
just makes
be.
sense. This is when we have Tiffany in her red sitting in the room filing her
Gorgeous.
nails when Nika's rolled in. She says
She's
that
always filing her nails. She needs.
she needs them sharp. For
That's true.
what she does later, certainly. She says that she's now Alice's guardian, or at least was anyway. And Nika says that she looks exactly. Has anyone told you look exactly like Jennifer Tilly?
Now, does this make sense at this moment? Because the last we
Jennifer
saw,
Tilly's either gone missing, right? Or
Yeah,
if she
Jennifer
just,
Tilly's.
Do you think Tiffany is still keeping up the Jennifer Tilly act
she,
at other times?
she must be. She must
like
be
acting
now
and
Jennifer
Well,
Tilly.
But
But she introduces herself as Tiffany Valentine, who is, I believe, set to be dead.
well, they don't even realize
we-
who that is. They're just like, okay, some lady at this
Oh yeah,
point.
they don't know. Yeah, they don't know that.
right.
It clicks later for Nika, but at this point she's just rolled in like, oh, okay, whatever. Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
sure where Jennifer Tilly is in this world. Jennifer Tilly versus Tiffany and all that kind of stuff. This is obviously
But this has
Tiffany
gotta be
in Jennifer Tilly's body. Yes.
But yeah,
Yeah.
this is Jennifer. This is supposed
Yes.
to be Jennifer Tilly, but she's not really right now. At least right now.
Well, I mean, I think
This is Jennifer Tilly's body possessed by Tiffany.
Yes.
yeah, and Tiffany's just going around being like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah,
know
I look just like her.
But
Exactly.
I'm not. I'm Tiffany."
Well, didn't she do that as Tiffany in Bride of Chucky? Something similar of that, like happening.
yeah,
like
she
you
was-
look like Jennifer Tilly, and she's like, yeah, but she wasn't at the time. She's Tiffany. Tiffany.
I don't remember that happening. Brian.
Something
I
maybe,
remember
right?
the
I don't
Thing
remember.
on the phone. They're on the phones.
oh yeah, and Seed
He's like, hang up the phone. Oh yeah, that's what it is.
and
yeah.
Seed.
Maybe
where she's
we're
like,
making stuff
Jennifer
up.
Tilly, she's the most beautiful woman in the world.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I love her voice.
All this Tilly play
Or the voice of
goes
an
wild.
angel
I
or
don't know,
something.
man. So they have this fun little back and forth, which eventually leads to Nika asking how Alice is, and she's just like, "Oh, she's dead, of course." Just like
Dead.
cold.
No, no,
on
even
it.
like warming
Even the doctor's
into it.
like, Jesus, you could have told me before.
Yeah, like,
Doctor,
that was a good
what?
line.
Yeah.
I would have liked to know
Yeah.
that.
But well, it's okay. She wanted Nika to have something. It's another good guy doll. We get another Chucky. Whoa,
Okay.
that's fun.
At this point, be like, no,
The
we're
doctor's like, is that the doll?
Right.
No, it's a therapy doll.
Not just therapy
Go ahead,
wall.
Sergio. Oh, sorry. Were you gonna say something, Sergio?
what me?
Yes.
Oh
Okay.
no, wait, what's that gonna say? Oh my god, I didn't even know you were addressing me.
I don't.
No.
No, it's
I
fine.
was just taking a drink.
So she gets this new doll. Jennifer Tiffany leaves, And it's just like, good luck. Which is a fun little like, oh, what's about to happen here? So Chucky, at this point, we get this shot of like the 2 Chucky dolls being carried, passing in the hallway, which nothing really happens.
I kept waiting both times. Both times I watched, I was waiting for one of them to look over at the other.
It's not until the doctor places the one he's holding in his room and sits it down and he leaves that's when we see that Chucky's eyes move.
Yeah, it's done. But yeah, that hallway shot is done in such a way that it's really building anticipation for something that does not happen.
It seems like it was a scene built for if both of the Chuckies were possessed at that time, but only one of them is. So they could exchange glances, but since there was nothing for, whatever. That happens.
But even one of them would have been fine. One of them looking at the other one, be like, ooh. Because then on the second watch, you would know it's like, I'm going to go possess that one.
Get you
yeah. I do like how vibrant against the whole setting Chucky is compared
this one in particular.
This hallway scene, I'm just like, ooh, I'm really liking the pop of color with the dolls compared to the walls in the setting.
Oh, certainly. Yeah, it's fucking great. Beautiful visuals in this one and a lot of fun, good cinematography, I think, as well. Later that night, we got Carlos chilling on duty while one of the Chuckies grabs a scalpel from, I don't know, the old scalpel drawer.
Yeah, this is wild.
That was actually the first thing you said.
I knew you were going to have fun with us.
Sharps.
Yeah.
Like, at an absolute minimum, they should have been sterilized and then individually wrapped in sterile packaging. Because the first thing you want to do if you're going to use a scalpel is make sure that it's like covered in a whole bunch of stuff that's going to infect whoever you cut it with.
Yeah, whatever is just in the air falling around.
Like I'm skeptical enough about just having a scalpel drawer in the nurse's station, but like
not even locked.
Just be out in the open.
Like it's out in the open, not locked in a facility with unstable patients.
Not that there should be a child there, but yeah, that too.
Yes, where a child could get it too. Sure, why not? But yes, all these other patients and stuff like that. Yeah, it's funny. So Chucky grabs one from there, and we get our first good look at Chucky kind of moving on his own at this point, being the evil version of the doll, and I think it looks great. I think these are amazing looking Chuckies. As you said, we really get to see him go from doll face to evil Chucky face all in like one shot, and just see him emote a lot is really cool.
Yeah.
He runs into Angela, and this is where we have this whole fun scene here. And she's like, can you see me? Don't be afraid. Chucky's like, what the fuck? Are you fucking with me?
I can see you.
Can you see me? He looks, because this is the first time we hear him really be Chucky, right?
Besides him talking with...
Besides the head at the beginning, yeah.
Right. Once he's in the facility. Because, she says the same thing from the scene earlier. Can you see me? He's like, yeah, I can see you. And it goes to start walking again. She's like, don't be afraid. Or don't be afraid of me. And he looks at her and says, what? I really like it.
This is one of the all the moments when Chucky's being Chucky in this one are really, I think, good, especially when we get all of them playing off of each other, and there's a lot of really fun stuff.
I really like the fact that it's followed by the fact that he confirms that he did call her.
He's like, are you the crazy one I talked to on the phone?
I'm like, so she's actually telling the truth.
What phone did he talk to her on?
Right? If she's just walking by.
Phones in the room that he might just have like accidentally dialed her extension.
I don't know.
Is that the nurse's station?
Exactly. By the knives in the phone drawer. It's all the same place.
She needed a knife.
She was looking for a knife.
The phone was ringing.
Yes. Perfect. And I like how Chucky's like, I'll be back for you. So then Chucky goes in to find Nika's room, and as he finds that she slit her wrist and is slowly bleeding out. Next morning comes, and Carlos comes to wake Nika, and well, she's surprised to be waking up at all. She didn't expect that. In a pool of her own blood below her, Chucky has written, "Not so fast."
Gotta say,
bandaged up her arm and stuff.
Kind of a scary baller move on Chucky to be
Absolutely.
stitching you. I was like, not so fast. You're not gonna get away that easy. I'm like, whoa, dropping bombs, Chucky.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really cool thing to see, but then I do not understand how we never follow up on the fact that Nika now has a pillow covered in blood in her room. Like, there has to be an orderly or somebody who comes in and makes the beds while they are out at group therapy or whatever.
Yeah, the process of getting rid of the blood-soaked pillow might be something to worry about.
Yeah, like how has that never come up again in this movie?
Lots. Just they got a lot going on here. We only see a couple orderlies. I mean, you've met Dr. Diddle. Like, this place isn't being run by the best people.
Maybe that pillow's still on the ground.
I mean, I did mention this earlier. It seems like there are some total of 3 employees who work 24/7.
One of them's about to quit. Like, this place isn't doing well. I can't do
this shit. I can't go. Well, is it immediately after this or not? Is it?
Well, at this
an
point,
alarm sounds?
Yes. So this is when we see like the not so fast thing, and she kind of like tries to cover it up. Nika is starting to get herself ready when this code blue alarm goes off, and orderlies rush to Angela's room. Nika rolls up as well, because apparently patients as well could just be anywhere while stuff is happening here. They are constantly around dead bodies. But so she rolls up.
Medium security.
There you go. And
you have the freedom to be close to dead bodies.
And close to a scalpel drawer in a place where they have a code dedicated to self-harm.
And a phone drawer. Huh. Everything. They can just do whatever. Of course. Medium security. I wonder what like minimum security is like. Jesus Christ.
In the minimum security, the scalpel drawer is in everybody's room.
You have your own scalpel drawer.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Perfect. So we find that Angela has slit her wrists much in the same way that Nika tried to do herself, holding a spoke from her wheelchair. We cut to now Alex in the cabin. He's chilling, having some cereal like he do, but instead this time of watching cartoons like he used to be when he was eating cereal, he's watching a video he made of himself shooting the Chucky head with like a nail gun or something, trying to prove to Dr. Foley that the Chucky's still alive and real.
Yeah, from 4 years prior, and it's a nail gun that looks like a real gun that you cock. I really have no idea what that thing is.
But he just, as he's like shooting it, and Chucky's like, "Arr!" And the doctor's like, "That's a fun effect."
Good job.
Good job. Why'd you want to show me this? No, you're not seeing my patient.
I'm surprised that he didn't turn it on him and be like, "Are you okay? Do you need to talk to somebody?
Right?
Do you want to sit down?"
He doesn't want to deal with that nonsense.
And
Andy sues people.
Not this cup of tea.
But then what did he do? Did he have to go to the front desk afterwards and say, "Can I have the security footage from this office?" Because he didn't bring like
up his own
tall tripod to get that angle
his own thing
of
and
himself.
For what purpose?
He walks in, doesn't say anything to the doctor. He's like, "1 second." Walks over, sets up a tripod, puts the camera on it. Hold on. Walks over, puts the head down, checks the frame. Hold on, and make sure everything's right. All right, doctor, and edits it to make it look like security footage.
Andy's trying to be like a YouTuber, like an influencer. It was like, "Hello, everybody, welcome to my YouTube. I'm going to show you guys Chucky over here."
I mean, yeah, why not? What else? Well, he's got all that insurance money.
That's true.
He could live that YouTube dream. So Angela's been offed. Alex is in his cabin doing his thing. Chucky's head laughs and tries to convince Andy that he's like, "Oh, maybe you're crazy. You've all made it up, blah, 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 blah." Mm-hmm. We cut to a group therapy session. Claire knows that Angela wouldn't kill herself, and she thinks that it was Nika. Madeline arrives late with her Chucky doll, and they now realize that there are 2 dolls. And at this point, Nika starts putting together that the doll came from Tiffany Valentine. Oh my God, that was Charles Lee Ray's girlfriend and all this kind of stuff, and gives a brief explanation of who he was and all their history and everything. Nika wants the doctor to prove that the doll is just a doll, so he takes out a lighter and starts burning the hand a whole bunch. And she's like, "No, more, do it more."
There's something about the way that it melts off the fingers, like the angles it creates. There's something about it that grosses me out. I don't know why.
I feel that on you. When I started to see that it was just melting off, I was like, that is a weird texture that it should be.
Drippy, melty fingers.
Ew.
Give me that goo.
Yeah.
So the
It's a
doll
whole
has
switcheroo, right?
well, yeah, the doll has no reaction. She's like, do it more, and still nothing is happening. And then she's like, oh, we got to do it to the other doll now. And they're like, all right, this is getting out of hand. Mine like, no, you can't touch my baby. Leave my baby alone. And she runs away with it. And then,
I mean,
yeah,
I was just watching this thing like I actually wish that they had done a callback to the original movie by having him
See the batteries?
check the batteries in the
Yeah.
back of the doll. Instead
Sure.
of defacing
I
this
thought that was the
doll
first thing he was
that
gonna
he
do,
paid
yeah.
a lot of money for. Like it feels like if you were to come to me, Sam, and say your doll is possessed that you have in your hands, prove to me that it's not possessed. My first thing would not be to pull out the lighter and start melting this doll's hand.
chop its head off.
Right.
Yeah, pop it off. Maybe he still talks.
Well, you take the battery out.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then even then, I don't know that I would start melting it. I'd maybe kick it around a bit.
Sure. Why not? I mean,
What would you do, Cody?
I would check the battery, and then once I take the batteries out, try to like do the thing that triggers the like movement and talking to see if it's not doing it. And then I don't know. I don't know what I would do after that.
I'd probably try to pull an arm out because the things are
Yeah,
probably
probably.
designed to like the way it should be just pop out. You should just be able to pop the doll's arm out essentially.
Right.
And if you
right.
pop it out, it's like a bunch of blood and like sinew.
But we
and
do know from the last movie from Curse that selectively when Chucky wants to make you think that he's not in the doll arm can just come off and you only see the connector and not a bunch of viscera that's inside the arm that you just
Yeah,
ripped
it's
off
hard
of
to
this
say.
living thing.
Flip back in this one.
Yeah, I feel like we're
Yes, it
back to
did.
Dalgore.
Again.
It did.
Yeah.
But no, one of them does have the popped out arm, right? The one missing an arm, isn't it? It's not gory on that
It's
side.
really
right?
true.
not. So yeah, I don't
It's
understand.
just like a hole.
Maybe Dalgore isn't Dalgore at joints.
It's Schrodinger's gore. You won't know until you pull the arm off whether or not
yes.
there will be gore inside it.
Schrodinger's
The
gore
arm is full of gore, but it's still attached separately.
via the wiggle attachment.
The ball socket.
Yes.
thing. Got it. Love it. We're in the hallway now. Malcolm asking Nika why Chucky didn't just kill her. She says that he wants to make her suffer by killing everyone around her first. That's how he's going to do it, and then eventually make his way to her. They're trying to catch up to Madeline, but she goes outside and, well, Nika can't follow. Nika convinces Malcolm to go outside and follow Madeline. Meanwhile, Claire takes another one of the Chucky dolls and goes to throw it down the garbage chute. While doing this, the Chucky doll bites her, and she's like, oh shit, that thing's real. And she starts like going off. She's like telling Dr. Foley, this thing's fucking real. Like, nobody's lying. This is a fucking crazy doll. It just bit me. He's like, what the hell did you do to your arm? Oh my God, we got to go calm you down. While this is going on, we have Madeline.
Like, what the hell indeed? How could that have happened? What does that look like? Like,
I don't know.
how could she? I would imagine her bite radius is much bigger than a doll's.
I would think so.
Maybe.
Plus, I feel like they would know her triggers at this place. They would know that she's not someone who would bite herself like that.
Sure.
Right.
Well, again, this doctor,
This doctor sucks.
Yeah, he's a bad
He does.
doctor.
Yeah. So
Dr. Pork Diddler.
Dr. Pork Diddler, MD.
I apologize.
Pork Diddler MD.
While this is going on, we have Madeline outside with Chucky at this random open grave. Madeline throws Chucky into the grave and then
Why is there a cemetery
pushes
here?
Malcolm in.
Is that
This
normal
is-
to have?
This is a
Is that
And
aesthetic?
there are a
mental
lot
health
of
care
graves.
facility.
There's a lot of headstones down there.
Depending on how old this hospital, why it would still be used, I don't know. But depending on how old this is, and depending on who they're housing there, if these are people who are like indigent, they have nowhere else to go, nobody to take care of them, there's a chance that they'd have this, because certainly plenty of hospitals, mental hospitals especially, had graveyards.
I was wondering if that was a thing.
I'll accept that response. I will not accept why there is currently dug an empty grave just sitting out there. for anybody to fall into. That's a huge liability risk.
They just always keep one open for if they need to do a ceremonial funeral for one of their patients. They just always have an open grave ready.
It's the therapy. It's the
therapy grave. Okay.
I mean, it makes sense with this fucking doctor. So that's going on. So Madeline throws Chucky in the grave and then like pushes Malcolm into it. And Nika's watching all this happen from the window. Claire is strapped down to this table and sedated. And Nurse Ashley, after this happens, she's sedated enough that she can't move her body, but she's conscious. I was like, God fucking damn it. Just put me all the way out at that point.
Yeah, why would I? That's giving me like claustrophobia right there.
I hate the idea of that. Yeah.
Or just like, have you guys ever had sleep paralysis? That's just like,
yes, it's happened.
No,
I have had sleep paralysis before, and that just like,
it's terrifying.
Sucks. Big time.
Exactly.
Terrifying for sure.
Exactly. So this happens. So we got these all kind of intersplicing scenes. We have Malcolm pulled out of the grave. So Nurse Ashley runs in. It's like, oh, we need help with Malcolm. They pull him out of the grave, and he's acting like real Chucky. Like he looks up at like Nika and like does this little smile and all this stuff. And so the implication is that he was possessed by Chucky.
Thrown into the grave to switch. Yep,
exactly. Well, believable at this point. So takes us.
Oh, doesn't he flip off Nika at some point, or is it before or after?
No, the Chucky flips off Nika.
Yeah, he's like.
Then when Malcolm gets out, he just like gives a really foreboding stare.
Got it.
Yeah, he kind of just exactly. Chucky's. So we're back into where Claire's strapped down in this fucking whatever this room is with this really, really big fucking skylight thing above her. She's just strapped down, seeing what's going on here. She can't really do anything at this point. Chucky's running around the room and he finds some compressed air, but he isn't really quite sure what compressed means.
Yeah, that
does
was
it
strange.
mean what I think it means?
I
was like, what is it gonna do?
I don't understand that at all.
That is, I mean, that's actually believable for a facility like this. That's a small oxygen cylinder. You can tell from the like coloration,
right,
that it would be used in like some sort of first aid kit if you needed to administer oxygen to somebody. There's not the right fittings on top to do that. That's beside the point. It is a thing that is believable to be here.
I don't get the whole statement he makes about it.
Yeah, no, that's weird. He's like, does that mean what I think it means?
Exactly.
Yes, it does.
What the fuck could you think it means? What are you talking about?
Because
a hot dog, does that mean what I think it means? I don't know. Do you think it means a hot dog?
And then you just like throw a hot dog somewhere and it causes something. Right. All he does is slam this thing on, slam it on the ground.
And it just goes popping off.
And it just pops off into this fucking skylight, which...
This was cool. Reminiscent of Bride of Chucky, I thought.
I thought it was cool, but I was also like, that's kind of lame. We're just reusing a death. Like I was kind of like, I loved watching the decapitation that happens. I thought that's all really cool, but I'm like, we did this.
Now with the snow.
We did this, and I liked it better when it was Tiffany, like having fun.
I did like Tiffany's ones better. I don't know why.
I'm like, just do something different.
The cutaway. I did like the slow motion snowfall afterwards, like where we're just seeing the body and the snow like coming down. I like that, but yeah, I think I prefer the Bride of Chucky one.
Apparently, Claire's death scene underwent many rewrites. Ideas included her being electrocuted, drenched by the sprinkler system, and then set on fire, and being injected with an anticoagulant, causing her to bleed out.
Ooh,
great.
That's a cool idea. I don't think I've
seen any of all those kind of things. I would have much rather had an original idea. Something unique that we haven't seen before.
I'm thinking he's just like writing his own Final Destination movie now. He's just like, what can I do?
Don Mancini's Final Destination.
Chucky versus Deathwing.
Yes.
Chuddle battle.
And we'll be back for that series.
Oh, right. Because those are both our series. Sorry. We've covered both of those at this point.
Yep.
I forgot. Sorry, Cody.
I will say that I did actually like do some research while we were watching the movie to determine if a medical oxygen cylinder would have enough gas in it to propel it that high.
Sure.
And my professional opinion is yes, if it was full, because those go up to like 2200 psi, which is really high. So that definitely would propel it. I'm not entirely certain that it would break through the skylight, and I'm very skeptical that the skylight would decapitate
Completely
Claire.
Shatter in that
because those
manner.
were big chunks of
just
glass.
crack.
They were big. Yeah, probably
You
crack
just
or
put
like
a hole through where it goes through their
I like the idea that the canister
hole.
just falls up, like, bonk, hits the glass, and then just like lands on her head, and it's just like,
hits her,
bonk.
like,
She's like,
fuck,
oh,
ow.
yeah, ah.
Well, only because those cylinders can have a lot of force behind them if the valve shears off at the top like that. But just from the momentum that tiny little canister would have, I don't quite believe it.
This goes to my other fear that I have, random, but I always hate holding fire extinguishers just because I'm just like, there's a lot of pressure here. Is that what it is?
You're
Yeah,
just
there's
afraid
just like
it's
a lot
gonna
of. I'm just afraid that's gonna explode
lot
at
of
any
power
minute.
in my hands.
Like like I'm just nervous about it.
I mean, technically speaking, not every fire extinguisher is pressure based, but yes.
Oh, okay, never mind.
There you go.
And
It's a 50-50 shot.
like, it
Sergio.
is like the third leading cause of death in American households is fire extinguishers blown up in people's hands.
Great.
So,
Well,
it's normal.
oh man.
Sam stats. We're back at Alex's cabin now, and he's reading his blogs when he sees that Chucky seems to have struck again. He's all like, what the fuck? And Chucky laughs behind him saying, you thought I was the only one? And this is when we start getting the idea that there's more than one Chucky afoot. And he goes to his gun locker and pulls out another good guy doll, but this one has a real shitty looking buzz cut.
Real short hair, this one. Yeah.
And Andy leaves.
This is a good mystery. I was like, what is he up to? I really, especially this doll, I'm like,
Yeah.
what is gonna like,
Mm-hmm.
what is it?
Sure.
At this point, I feel like you have to trust the process a little bit with the story. It's like, yeah, it's getting kind of wacky, but trust it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nika's with Dr.
Bye.
Foley.
Bye.
Ryan. Nika is convinced Chucky is back and is actually possessing both dolls, but Dr. Foley continues to believe this is false. Wants to have a little hypno session with Nika. He injects her with something and turns on this weird strobe light and starts just hypno vibing with her. This is when it gets
Starts
creepy.
drinking.
Yeah, he like I
was like,
immediately I'm like,
Why is he drinking? It's weird that the first thing he does is pour himself a drink.
He's like,
That-
you know
that
you have
was
a good
my-
doctor. They start with a glass of scotch. Like, what is happening? Or whatever the hell he has.
Is he hypnotizing her? This is yeah.
Well, we quickly learn that he's Dr. Creep. He's Dr. Diddle. He is coming in for Porktown.
Now, did you see this coming when it happened?
I did not.
No.
I completely forgot about this, and when it did, I was like, "Oh my god!" It was a gasping moment for me when that happened, and I think it also allows us to now root for Chucky to be like, "Yeah, get him."
Root for a kill.
Kill
yeah,
this guy.
exactly.
Yeah.
Of course. He pretty much through hypnosis convinces Nika that she's the one that does these killings. Like, I don't know. He's like, hypno shit. Whatever.
It's basically like repeat after me shit.
Yeah.
And I was still at this point fully invested in my theory that this was all some conspiracy and that he was trying to like use hypnotherapy to convince her to say that she did do it and confess and kind of like clear the way for Chucky a little bit.
Sure.
Up
Interesting.
up
could see
until
it.
the point where he just completely throws that out the window by sexually assaulting her.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's coming up at right after. Well, I like where she has this little. He's like, "What are you laughing at?" He's like, "Chucky's behind you." But he's like, and then he like obviously doesn't look. He's like, "No, that's bullshit." And then this is when he goes in for that fucking sexual assault and like kisses her, and we're like, "Oh my god, this is just getting really weird." But he gets whacked on the back of the head, And Chucky pops in. He's like, "Holy shit!" And they call me sick. This guy's diabolical. I love.
Yeah.
And then a moment later, like another interaction between them, and Chucky's like, "God, I don't know if I should kill the guy or take notes." Like,
yeah.
That's a really good one.
Next time he hits him on the head, I think.
Chucky's getting some zingers in this stand-up routine.
This is great, especially with this guy who's a creep when he gets to be like, "Oh my God, I know I'm bad, but this guy, ugh." So at this point, he's like shattered the doctor over the head with this bottle, and there's all this broken glass. So he tries to get Nika to take one of the pieces and kill the doctor and by herself. I said, and then at this point we fade to commercial break, or rather we get this really weird fade to black. And I just imagined right then, it's going to be, Olive Garden popping up or some shit. But it comes back to Nika's now crawling on the floor. She crawls up to see Alice, who's all like, "Auntie Nika, we've been waiting for you." Then this giant fucking chunky, fuck it.
Chunky, this
he
is
comes
Chunky.
stomping down the hallway, laughing and like glitching, standing over Nika. It's really weird. I'm gonna
chalk it up to the drugs, but a fun little note, again, just feeding into my theory of the role of color in this film to depict possession, is that Alice is wearing red shoes.
Interesting.
Alice in the red shoes.
See, and I kind of looked at this because it doesn't happen. I was wondering if at any point earlier on Nika was already possessed, and we know that she's not at this point. But I was like, this could be like her battling the Chucky that's inside of her versus herself, and kind of being some sort of but obviously that doesn't come into, because that's not the case.
Well, but
so I don't know what it's really what is this supposed to represent at this point?
It still could be a little bit, I guess, because we know that through the hypnotherapy, Dr. Foley has been trying to convince her that she created the Chucky as a way to disassociate and perform the murders that she did. And so perhaps that's why the Chucky is so distorted.
Chunky. So
because he's a figment of her imagination that's been put together and not an actual embodiment of Charles Lee Ray's soul.
Makes perfect sense to me. better job than the movie did at explaining it to me. So yeah, love it. So after this happens, she wakes up. She's in like the skylight room that Claire was in, and all these like weird visions of Chucky and his grossed out face start popping into her head. But then again, she wakes up for real. So it's this more, I guess, probably again battling with the inner Chucky, the Chucky within us all, maybe. We got the
Chucky was inside us all along.
Group is now waiting for Dr. Foley. The doctor's running late. Oh, late doctor, isn't that funny? There's blah blah blah. Fucking Mark acting all creepy. Malcolm starts talking all cryptic. Nika's like, "Mark, what is wrong with you today?" And he's like, "That's not me. That's not my name. Today I'm Charles. Ooh.
Oh.
I think we've met before, maybe." And starts like putting on this act. And like the second time around I'm seeing it, I'm like, yeah, it's clearly like him. Because you listen to her and how much she's told him about specifically Charles Lee Ray, how he acts, all these things that he knows. And then it's like, oh yeah, he has all enough information to become this character or whatever.
Right. But he's and also Chucky has never called himself Charles.
Yes. Well, it's when he comes later and he says, he's like, "I don't like to be called Chucky." That's when we know for sure that because he obviously prefers to be called Chucky and all that kind of fun stuff. So this is all happening while they're waiting for Dr. Foley. Madeline says, or I don't know if this comes back. Nika goes to grab a pencil from the table and then asked if she can like hold Chucky. I guess she's just planning to do something with that. Yeah. Does that pencil come back?
No. And nothing happened right there, right? What is
I think she wants to hold Chucky and then just like, I don't know. Like
I thought it was to kill Chucky, but maybe because she doesn't get him, it was like, oh, Nick's the plan.
Like it's thrown away so quickly. Like why have
Why
that
even do it
at
if
all?
you're not gonna allow her to whatever? Madeline says that she needs to go put him down for the night, and Nika tries to follow, but she's cut off by Dr. Foley. He's like, you don't remember what happened? You assaulted me. Chucky was never there. This is what happened. But we can keep it all hush hush. I won't say anything. You don't say anything. We'll keep it cool. You don't have to go back
he
to.
really is the worst.
Yeah.
Boo.
Doing that, like, you don't want to go back to like that old maximum security prison. Madeline has made it to her room with Chucky, and Nika's very concerned. Andy, at this point, he's in his fucking truck going along here. He gets a call from Tiffany while driving to the Institute, and then she calls to give him a message from Chucky. Just one word. He'll know what it means. Disembowel.
What the hell does that mean?
No idea.
She says,
it
what do you
means
suppose
it means
that means?
to remove the bowels.
He knows what it is. And Chucky had previously sent Andy a word of the day with disembowel, so she's like, he knows you'll know the
There
word.
you go. You should know. That's all she was asked to do.
Well, here, maybe this will, I don't know if this will
I don't know
explain
what I thought
anything,
it would
but
be,
in the audio commentary, Don Mancini revealed that the original version of the film had no scenes between Andy and Tiffany. When the fans online were getting excited about the idea of them finally meeting each other, he quickly wrote and shot the scene where Andy and Tiffany talk on the phone. So it's quickly made
so
up
this is
scene
kinda like
thrown
out of
into
place.
there.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Got it.
basically.
Okay.
So, yeah, that could explain why it just kind of makes no sense. Disembowel, whatever.
I do like the idea of the two worlds colliding a little bit. I wish it was in the same room, but
Sure.
I like the phone call between them.
Disemboweled with compressed air. That'd be good. Would have been a good one.
So, Nika goes to Madeline's room. This is so Madeline has Chucky in the room, and Chucky's just like sucking on a titty for an hour or so, and then Madeline puts him to bed.
As one does.
Yes. Nika is knocking, trying to get in, but Madeline's talking to Chucky about always loving my mother's love. I'm always gonna love you. And then she picks up a pillow and starts to just suffocate Chucky.
Because that's what she does.
That's her thing.
What do you think,
man.
Charles? That's her thing. That's why she's here.
Yeah. So
now, what do you think this could work? Do you think you can strangle a Chucky doll?
No.
Because I know he's not dead.
Then he could just turn
Or
into
he's not even
a doll a little bit.
Well,
Like
I
Frozen.
think maybe
we've seen him headless,
Right.
or beheaded, decapitated.
By Child's Play logic, yes. By Chucky movie logic, no. Because in Child's Play, he's locked into this body that is slowly becoming more and more and more and more
sure.
human. He can't like Toy Story himself, where he just becomes a doll again at will, which he can do now. So I think like if you were to find Chucky far enough along in the possession that he has operating lungs, then yes, you could totally kill him this way, but not in this movie.
Sure. I see that.
Dr. Foley, Malcolm Charles, and Nika are in the room, and Dr. Foley makes Madeline confront her past. And
Jesus.
So she's sorry for killing her kid at this point, I guess. Nika really wants the doll and wants to kill it. Dr. Foley's able to take the doll from Madeline, talks about it being a powerful symbol, and it's not time to, and now is the time to bury the past once and for all. So this is where we get to use our ceremonial grave to do these kind of things. So they use the spare open grave they always keep on hand to bury Chucky. Later that night, this delivery truck is leaving right as Andy arrives to the facility. He needs entry, but he's denied. So he's like, fine, I need to be admitted as a patient. And then he punches the guard, and I guess this does the job. That's all you need to do. And
he gets in.
He gets a room, a very well padded room. Meanwhile, Nika's watching the grave. She's just been sitting there watching the grave that Chucky's been buried and hasn't moved, it seems like. Eventually, she sees him rise from the grave. Right after this, Dr. Foley receives a big old good guy sized box. That was what was being delivered. And he opens it up. It's Buzzcut Chucky. So Andy sending it ahead.
Sent him this doll.
But he's like, I don't know who would do this, but we got to go do our rounds. So him and Carlos leave. Madeline's in her room, missing her kid. The nurse has to take away the shoe she's holding, but she's like, oh, I need this. But he's like, no laces. I got to take this. So Nurse Ashley takes that away.
Suicide watch.
Yeah. Once we see the nurse leave, Chucky, I guess, was just hanging out behind the door. Dirty Chucky. So this is the one that rose from the grave. And he's Madeline asks for like one more hug or one more time, and he comes up and gives her a hug and then just starts slowly sticking some fingers into her mouth, wiggling them around a little bit, and then shoves his fist in there.
What the hell is this as well?
I don't know.
So they're just like, what is even going on?
I don't know
at that point,
because
she's kind of opening her mouth for her, like pursing her lips a little bit.
Yeah,
this is I think what happens when you get this far along in the series and you need a new creative death you haven't done before.
I guess.
I mean,
just full on fist.
Just have him fucking throat punch her right away without doing the weird I'm gonna finger your lips a little bit and make it sexual in some weird way.
Like
that made it uncomfortable, unless he was like,
especially because the doll and this woman have this mother-son relationship.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
Madeline, she starts getting fisted and in her mouth and can't breathe.
In the mouth, just to be specific.
Eventually, Chucky just sticks his hand in there and rips out what?
Something.
I don't know. It kind of looked like a retainer for a second there. I was.
It looked like there was some tongue, but then I was like, is there some spinal cordage in there? I'm like, I don't know what he's ripping, but there was chunks of stuff.
No.
What do you call your dangler?
The uvula.
Yeah,
there was definitely a
I don't know
uvula in
what
there.
that was.
There was definitely a dangler. So he pulls that out, and then Nurse Ashley arrives to find Madeline with Chucky's arm jammed down her throat. And then she's like, fuck, I quit. This is too much.
Honestly, the smartest move
really is
in this situation. It's like,
smart choice.
You guys handle this. I'm getting out of here.
Yeah, what the fuck am I going to do here? I didn't sign up for this. Malcolm is acting all funny, but he's just sent to bed. The doctor's like, just go to bed, Malcolm. So at this point,
well, he's been like with us this whole time in several scenes. I'm like,
no,
he's not involved.
Just like laughing.
Like, get away.
Yeah, like why do you have this guy just?
Well, they still want us to think that,
right, but he's Charles Lee Ray. He's
that Chucky might be in there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They want us to think that, but as a bad doctor. It's just like, oh, come around while we go investigate all this stuff.
Let's all
keep hanging
this.
out. Well, it's at this point he's like, go to bed. And he's like, oh, fine. And like saunters off. So next, Carlos is asked, he's like, get rid of this. He's holding the dirty Chucky doll. I call him at this point.
He throws it out?
He throws it down the garbage chute. And Dr. Foley returns to his office where he finds Nika waiting for him. He's creepy as hell again. And this is when he puts some like those sweet red heels on Nika. Mm-hmm. So this is the start of some red there. And after this is Chucky knocks the doc over the head again, which I like. That happens twice. That's a fun little thing. The doctor keeps getting knocked out, and we get that little
concussion
bit, like,
maybe by
noise.
now. Maybe
probably I would think so. Once again, tempting Nika with killing the doc, but she's like, I'm not a killer. He's like, not yet. And Chucky turns her wheelchair to reveal the armless, dirty Chucky with a long-ass drill chilling. He's like, oh, fuck, so this is confirmation. We got multiple Chuck. Yay, I'm chilling. Yeah. They talk about Andy finally coming. And it would behoove them to be careful. This is where you get like, behoove? Like, ooh, fancy.
Like, what does he say? Who are you, Hannibal Lecter or something like that, right?
Oh yeah.
Chucky compares he compares one of the other Chucky dolls to Hannibal Lecter, adding, "Can't believe they canceled that show." Writer-director Don Mancini wrote 2 episodes of Hannibal during its 3rd and final season.
I forgot about that.
Oh really? I really need to watch that show. I've heard nothing
but great
things. That's actually been a show that's been recommended to us to watch on the channel.
Sure.
They'd be like, you have to watch it. But we actually haven't even seen, we've seen Silence of the Lambs, but we haven't seen the other 2 movies.
Like Red Dragon.
I think there's 2 movies after that.
And Red Dragon.
Yeah, we haven't seen those. Are they good? Have you seen them?
Oh, and then isn't there one called Hannibal?
I thought so, right?
I thought it was Hannibal.
The one where the
and then
top, like his head,
No.
the top half of it, the head
we don't know.
missing at the dinner table. Something like this. I don't remember.
Anyway, all right. They go ahead and decide at this point, they're like, all right, let's go ahead, and they don't know who he is, but let's wake up this buzzcut Chucky. Go ahead, get him going. I don't know where he came from. This is when we start to have, I said, the most fun with all these Chucky characters.
I love these
interacting
three,
with each other and having a good time. We learn.
I love the puppetry because we have like a scene where they're just all walking around her, and I was like, well, this is pretty cool. Like it doesn't look like actors playing this. It looks like the dolls walking around, which I like, which I'm sure maybe like they did some editing splicing to put it together, but it looks pretty neat.
From what I saw, cause I saw a little bit of behind the scenes. I can't remember if this scene particular, but definitely throughout the movie they used like a combination of regular puppeteering and just having people in like green morph suits manipulating the
nice
puppets or dolls, and then taking them out in post. And sometimes there's a combination of the two. So I bet you this one was one of those. I just can't remember precisely.
No, makes sense. There's a lot going on here, and I think it all looks great. We also learn at this point that Chucky says that he a couple of years ago he found a spell on voodooForDummies.com, and that's how he figured out how to
just do it like
cool.
this.
Move it all around.
Perfect.
I want to understand how this works. Is it like a hive mind thing? Is it like how does he know what the other dolls are doing? Is it just like a
right? Do they have collective memory?
Their own little thing.
Is it just something that we should hand wave away and say whatever? It just happens that way.
I don't know if I don't get the assumption he knows what the other dolls are doing. He just, whenever he splits himself off, there's a plan in mind, and that doll, he just assumes that doll is it's another one of him, goes off and does that part of the plan, maybe type.
Because I was thinking back to the beginning when the doll's head is laughing and he's saying, "Oh, you think I'm the only one?" And maybe I just misinterpreted that to think that like he was fully aware of what the other dolls were doing. But you could be right, Bryan, that he just knows that other dolls are conscious.
Right, but I think those dolls have been part of his plan for X amount of years. It's always been set into play. Like, I don't know, when Nika is finally transferred to somewhere we can get at her, this is what happens, and I don't know, they've always known to do those things.
I do like that that's his next plan, where he's like, fuck it, I don't really need to be, well, it changes here at the end, but he decides I'd rather have a bunch of me's out there instead of
he's like, I'm just ready to fucking send them out, do a bunch of different things, whatever. Why not? Let's fucking go about it. We also learn he possessed Alice's body, and that's how she in fact died. He was running around. He's like, you can get around and kill a lot of people as a young girl, but when one of those people finally fight back, it doesn't look so pretty anymore. So that's what happened with Alice. Ooh. Carlos walks in,
which I like that. I think that's dark.
It's right.
Yeah, no.
Cool.
Yeah, dark, nasty, and cool. Carlos walks in and he gets it 3 ways: some drilling, stabbing, and slicing.
Yeah, he does. The way the guts spill so quickly in steam,
gnarly. I like it. It was a good. Yeah, all this is really good, fun, gross, gory stuff. All the Chuckies then have a fun time talking about it, and like, oh my god, did you see the way I cut him and his guts came out? Oh my god, and like, this is the brilliant stuff of them all hanging out. I wish we had more of this.
Must have had a field day with this one, just being different voices all at the while reading this.
Definitely. You can tell it seems like a really fun time with all this acting together. They then start arguing about who gets to kill Andy. One of them got to suck on titties, so it should be the other one, he says. And like that they determined that like messed up hair Chucky should be the one to go for whatever reason. A security guard at this point goes on to check on a car out front, finds the Tiffany doll sitting inside, and gets a nice little necklace per Tiffany, as she's known to do. with cops and security guards. And
Yes.
stuff.
A lot.
Cops by cars. Near cars.
Exactly. That is, she's
Her
got a
go-to
style.
move.
I'm not upset
In
about
and
seeing her
around.
do this again because that's like her thing. If Chucky's always killing people by sending
trademark.
fucking things coming down from the ceiling,
Yeah.
that's fine. But it just felt like, a
And we have
repeat,
the added
I
little
understand.
twist where she licks the.
which is really
the-
weird.
Yeah, it was very. She
mean,
goes
Yeah.
lick yummy, and she just.
It
I
can't
know.
be
I'm like that.
cherry snow cone. No.
Yeah,
It tastes like
no,
iron.
Absolutely not. There's no way that tastes like cherry. Thank you. It is metallic.
Like I don't care. Like even if you were,
Iron.
That's unsanitary.
yeah,
We're gonna need
anyway,
to go
she
get
loves
checked.
it. We go back to Chucky is with Nika. She's all ready to die, just being like, just do it already. And he's like, there's some things that are much worse than death. And he starts to perform the ritual. And then
The witch.
the ritual.
It's a
and
different
then-
kind of chant, right?
It's a quick one. It has a slightly different
They've all
word.
been quick. We see
but
him like
these are
throw
the
'em out
snappy
a couple
ones.
times.
Yeah.
And this one, the final wording is different because it's like Awe. It's not Dewey Dembala. It's Awe. Whatever that middle one was different.
I think he said that a few times. I thought in this one, it's that different version
Oh,
of
did
it.
it?
I think that's the quick,
Right. Okay.
just move part of my soul, not take my whole
Oh,
soul.
sure. This is the like more efficient.
This is the efficient. You're only taking some, not the whole transfer thing.
Yeah.
Much worse than death. Yeah, he's getting into her. This is when she does a little herky jerk and stands up. So this
That
is
was
that
cool.
like kind of like body
I like
move
that.
and stuff she does around, like that. Like you see her play around into in some other shows, which is really fun to see.
Mm-hmm.
And this point, what happens? She is offered the chance to kill the doctor. Not offer the chance. She does kill the doctor because she is Chucky.
Ooh.
She's full on at this
Because
point.
she's Chucky now.
Yeah.
And he says this is for Nika.
Yeah.
Before he does it.
Yeah.
And this head stomping is
Dope.
rad.
I like this head stomp.
It
Really
is
good.
chunky. It is very chunky.
The final shot with like his lower jaw
Yeah.
still like intact, but the rest of it all smashed.
It's a good chunk.
really cool.
And speaking to the red motif, she is wearing a red scarf as she's walking
Mhm.
out of this as well. So she's got those stompers
Yeah.
on and that red scarf. And she comes up and I think meets up with Malcolm at this point, who claims to have killed Nurse Ashley.
Yes. With the drill.
He didn't, though.
No.
It was another Chucky, right?
Yes.
And he's just trying to take claim for it. And this is where, like, we kind of realize, yeah, he's not
He's
actually.
a poser.
He is a poser. He's not possessed by Charles Lee Ray. Did you all really thought he was going to be, right? I did.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did.
But I knew there was something off because he kept saying Charles, and I was like, that is not right. Why is this one weird?
Right. I think after the first watch on it, I don't remember my feelings. I didn't like it as much as I did the second time around. I was okay with the fact that he wasn't. I really wanted him to be possessed the whole time, I think, the first time. And I was upset by the reveal that he wasn't, but whatever. I think there's other things to be more upset about with this movie. But he does get a nice drill into the back of the head. That's fucking gnarly. He just like kind of like
Yeah.
drills out and pops through his eye. There's a lot of good.
gnarly deaths back to back here at the end.
That's from our little one-arm Chucky, which you can see on his shoulder is that little open socket. So
right.
it's, I guess you can pull off arms.
But I think if
you can't-
the arm had been like cut off below
like
the
here,
elbow or something,
we
it
had
would
a
be
blood
all
gushers,
bleedy.
we would have had a gushers situation. Now, Buzzcut Chuck has gone to meet up with Andy to go kill him. He gets into Andy's room, has this little tussle around, throws like a knife at him, which Andy can't quite pull out of his leg quick enough for some reason. And then Andy eventually pins him to the wall and starts like scuffling around at Chucky's
This
like
was
clothes, trying to take him
hilarious
off.
to
It's so
me.
funny.
Because I'm like, what, Andy? What the fuck are you trying to do?
He's trying to tickle
And
him.
the whole time, the Chucky's face is like,
Yeah, like, what are you trying to do? He's having the
What
same
is
thought as
happening?
you. So Andy has hidden a gun inside of this Chucky.
Yeah.
And
Which was that was his major plan for him sending this doll over?
I guess so. Thank
To, like,
God
have
they
a gun
sent
inside?
this Chucky after him.
Apparently, yeah.
She kind of says, he's like, you made it easier coming to me. But like, I guess it worked out pretty well.
Oh, is this disembowel?
Yeah, but why would Tiffany?
Why would Chucky
That,
know?
I don't know. I got that far.
Unless the head of Chucky, no, because the head of Chucky would have had to been able to talk to Tiffany.
Yeah, no, it still doesn't.
Yeah.
We tried.
It's
it
so
doesn't
confusing.
work.
We tried.
I did like, though, he shoots this Chucky a bunch, then stomps its head. Another great head stomp.
Bunch of good stomps.
Great doll gore.
Yeah, good doll gore here.
Fiona Dora, possessed now by Chucky, pops in and said, I really like these lines. She's like, think about it. Or you kill me, you kill her. Think about it. And he shoots, but he's out of bullets. And she goes, thinking
Losers. Man, the way
it.
that she just like fits into the
way
role.
she just falls into it.
Like
I
it's
love
not
it.
even like I had
Perfect.
to like adjust myself. It just goes, and I
Mhm.
get
Yeah.
it. And
But I mean, if she has grown up watching her dad do that, I remember in Child's Play 2 hearing about her going to like the recording sessions for him doing the voice and stuff. So like, it makes sense that she picks it up so naturally.
yeah.
Of course, it's just born with it. This leads her to eventually strolling out of our hospital here, and
This did make me sad that the fact that like she kind of trapped Andy in this place. And at the time of watching this, I did remember being like, that's how we leave him off? Like, is that how we ended? Like, I love Andy. Why are we doing this to him? But
I'm sure he'll be fine. Someone's gonna come to this place and like let him out within a day, I imagine.
Hopefully.
Well,
You would
and
think
also,
this place is very badly
gonna
managed.
well, part of me was
when
thinking
they
that
find him in there with the squished dog orb.
I was
thing.
thinking that they were either going to find him crazy or they were going to pin all of this on him.
Again, a repeat. Like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That,
Well, I guess we'll have to find out where things
see
left
what
off with
happens.
him in the Chucky TV show.
But this does lead to us coming in with Nika Chucky meeting up with Tiffany Tilly, and they share a little kiss and moment together. Which in this moment I was thinking
they sure do.
how funny it is for Jennifer
soon as they
Tilly
kissed, I
to
was like,
have.
They sure do.
Has she kissed Brad Dourif? Have we seen her kiss Brad Dourif at this point?
No.
No.
Okay.
It's always been just
No reason
Chucky.
she would have.
Okay,
So
just
this
the
was-
idea
this-
of her being involved with father and daughter Dourifs.
And daughter, yeah.
Mhm.
Wow.
I'm not. I'm not a guy who is normally like, oh, two girls kissing, awesome, blah blah blah.
But
This
Lesbos.
time, two girls kissing awesome.
But the-
Yeah, Sam was like,
these two.
Sam immediately went,
But these two.
Lesbos.
Oh, lesbos.
Oh, we got the look of we got the look of the Tiffany doll
Uh-huh.
before, right? We got a little pan and she
oh
goes
yeah,
back
Tiffany's
here.
in the back and
She was in the
laughing
back.
with them or something. And that's
Yeah,
how
And
we
that's
get
a
to it.
so now we know there's multiple Tiffany's.
Yeah, split soul of
Dope.
Tiffany.
Love it. I love to see a good Tiff doll. And that cuts us to credits, and then our post-credit scene takes us back to Andy's cabin with Chucky's head still just hanging out there, and it's the return of Kyle popping in there, Andy asked her to stop on by and have a little fun or whatever the hell she says. And apparently she's wearing her hat, which apparently is like her thing that what Sam was telling me that
Her
she's
thing that
worn
she's-
in like
Yeah.
every show and movie she's been in. She has this hat with her. Cool.
At least 3 other times, yeah.
So that's a fun little scene. That's kind of like the same thing that happened in Curse of Chucky with Andy coming back
Yeah.
and doing something there. And
I
that
like
is
that she
only
came back for
included
this
in
one.
Me too.
that's in the unrated version as well, as opposed to the rated. You don't get that scene.
It's
for
not
whatever.
on Netflix. When we watched it, I was like,
That's how I watched
I
it.
definitely
yeah.
think there's
So
a
you have the
post-credit scene,
rated.
but yeah. And then I
Yeah.
had to YouTube it.
Which is fun. This is the first one that I didn't, because I got the Chucky collection, but I was like, oh, thank God it's streaming. I don't have to figure out when I can watch it. This in the living room.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Sure. Well, that takes us to the end of the movie. Do you have any final thoughts before we get into our crematorium of questions?
You say final throats?
Maybe. I did now.
Yeah.
What are your final throats? Any final throats you want to slit?
Ooh.
You want to slice them? All right, cool. Let's go ahead and take a break, and then we're going to get into the crematorium. Crematorium of questions. We got a few for you this evening. First off, we always like to ask, how would you survive if you think you can? I mean, I guess we're patients in this facility. It's finally happened, guys.
This would be one of the toughest
They've
ones.
committed
This
us.
one would be
Of all of
tough.
them.
Because we're now like also up against weirdo doctors, little staff, and other people that don't believe us.
Yeah,
And more than one shot.
more than one
Chucky.
Yeah, I feel like this is one that
I'm getting possessed. I know.
Yeah, I think this is the one that we don't survive because there's just so much Chuck.
Yeah.
Now,
So
I
much
agree.
Chuck.
here's my proposal. One of us now, and here's the other thing I was thinking about this is like Chucky's so easily able to find on voodooForDummies.com. Tiffany obviously reads Voodoo's for Dummies,
Yeah.
and that stuff works. So
Sure.
there's got to be other people doing this stuff off in the world. My thought is that, I don't know, maybe I'm hanging out hiding in a room and I see Chucky possess someone else. So I start trying to figure out how to move my body around and possessing other things. So I build an army of Bryans to fight an army of Chuckies.
Sure.
And, there we go from there. That's my only
Bryans
thought.
versus
Otherwise, we're
Chucks.
just dead. What is I think someone, again, maybe someone needs to be sacrificed to learn about body transferal stuff or anything like that. And maybe then someone can survive. Doesn't necessarily have to be me, but.
So between us, we would have to figure out, okay, who is Bryan putting his soul into?
Right at that point, yeah. Is this a Bryan or is this a Chucky? It's going to be a whole thing. I can't wait. Then there's going to be, we'll talk about it in the sequel, Chucky 2149, when it's just a world that's either Bryan's or Chucky's, and it's just this massive battle
And we have to wait to find
Or
out.
is it? It's a world of Chuckies, and the Bryans are the resistance.
Well, we know my sequel idea will get there soon. So I think, but for the most part, I think, this is the hardest one to survive.
Yeah, by far.
Absolutely.
All in agreement. Love it. How would you make this one gooier?
I make it more consistent because at the end you get a ton of really good ones.
Yeah.
But I think it's really lagging
In the middle.
through.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
I do too. I think, push them more in the beginning. Pull in our Chuckies, all of our Chuckies in earlier. Have more fun with it.
Oh yeah, have them like run amok
Do a lot
for a little
lot
bit.
of that sooner. Exactly, because that's the best parts about it. Villain level. Here we go. 1 through 10. Power level iconography with our Chuckies, our Tiffany's, all of it here. I mean, where do we put it here?
Yeah.
I almost feel like we got to give a solid 10 for this one. I mean, iconic is clearly a 5 because it's Chucky, right? And this is a step up from.
Go Sam. Go Sam.
Oh my god!
Wait, which Sam? It's which? You've been possessed.
I'm still in here. It just dropped out all of a sudden.
You split your soul in front of us.
Yeah, exactly. Talk about soul splitting.
I only see a gray box that says my name.
Oh.
We
and
see
then
2
me.
Sam.
We see 2 Sam
Yeah.
for sure.
So there you go.
It's one of, are they both moving?
Oh,
or?
it's
Oh,
gone.
okay. One
Just disappeared.
defeated one.
Good.
Oof, I win.
Are you a Chucky or are you a Bryan?
I was practicing.
We're talking about the power level here. I believe Cody was saying iconography. You got to give them the 5.
Yeah.
I think these are some of the best Chuckies and deserving of it.
I agree.
And clearly a step up in power level too, because now he can become multiple Chuckies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he's
Easily.
kind of more unhinged in this one than ever, honestly.
Yeah. And he wins. I mean, he and Tiffany walk away after like murdering a shit ton of people.
Yeah.
Essentially. I mean, a version of him and Nika.
So what is it? What are you doing for
Power level?
his
That's tough though,
power
because
level,
he's still ultimately, I think,
his
killable.
soul is a little
You kill
dull?
enough of them.
Yeah. And you can smash his head just by stomping on it.
But I mean, he always seems to come back somehow. You just think about him in a doll form.
3.5.
Sure, 4. I'll give him a 4.
I'm gonna give him a 4. I think
I
for
was
this
thinking
one.
4, but
Let's
I
hit the
didn't know
9.
if that was too high.
Hit the 9.
Yeah, I agree.
Nice.
Let's hit the 9.
Hit the
We'll
9.
hit the 9.
Hey.
Does this deserve a sequel? And would you want to see one? What's the one you want to see? Now, yes, I want to see a sequel from this, but I don't know if this one, like seeing this, does a sequel get greenlit after this? I mean,
I would have been down for like another Nika story.
well,
Right, but now also bring Andy back into it and Kyle. Like I like bringing these.
I
legacy
feel like you have
characters.
a possibility to have like
Yeah.
an Avengers scaled kind of movie where you got your Chuckies, you got your Nika,
The
you got
CCU.
Tiffany and Jennifer Tilly all in one side, and then we got Andy, his mom,
I can
bring
see
the
the
cop
poster.
in that she's with, right? Like
Chris Sarandon.
Chris
the Civil
Sarandon,
War like style
a
poster
Civil
of
War
them, like
kind of thing.
Captain America.
I
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
like you could really go all out for this one.
I mean, some point maybe look into the show and stuff and see if they kind of build into that. Like I said, Sam and I mentioned our history with it, but I really don't remember too much of it. I remember some things.
You guys have seen it all, right?
We have seen
Yeah.
it. It's very tough to like talk about
we
it
are-
without having
We are
to spoil anything.
Yeah, I'm sure. There's stuff I know
Well,
about.
I know most of the
Nika,
first
like,
season
but
doesn't involve any of this stuff. I think until the end of the first season,
Yeah,
and then it brings some of these
Mhm.
sequels in,
for sure.
or some of the movies in. Really, before then, it's all kind of standalone.
Hmm.
seems like it. So, sequel ideas? Anyone else? Anything?
Send them to space.
Send them to space.
Mancini said he would do it if people wanted it.
Love it.
I don't know.
Well, would it
how
be in
would
the
work, but
future?
let's do it.
Because it can be like maybe the world
No,
has
The
been.
past.
Oh,
Chucky
Far, far
1969.
away.
Oh, I meant like somehow he gets sent back in time, baby, and like it's trapped on.
oh my god.
To the 60s, and it's groovy. Cool.
Austin Powers versus Chucky.
Oh my
Ooh,
God.
that's the crossover. I do
Mike
want to see.
Myers versus Chucky.
Mike Myers versus Austin Powers versus Chucky.
Shrek versus Chucky.
I'd take any one of these. Would you buy
many.
this soundtrack or score on vinyl? I'm gonna give this one a no,
No.
dog.
No?
That's no. I can barely remember any musical scores from this movie.
Same.
Was there
Same.
music in this movie?
I don't
Cannot
remember.
confirm.
The only music I kind of remember was when I watched those intro credits that I did not like, and I remember being like, I don't like this music either. So that's gonna be a no. Action figure worthy, obviously from a lot of perspectives. All the Chuckies, the Tiffany's
Oh,
give
yeah.
you a lot of good action
Absolutely.
figures there. Anyway,
Please.
I'll take a
Yes.
Nika toy.
Yeah.
I would take a Nika.
And we
Yeah.
already said the moving and talking head from the beginning of the movie.
If they have
Yes. Oh, that'd be a great.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
for sure.
I would take a grown Andy toy.
that.
Yeah. I think like all
The whole collection.
grown Andy and his van or truck or whatever. With the cabin playset with wall of guns and all that stuff. Arsenal sold separately. Arsenal sold separately. You have to buy all the individual guns. Now, merch or prop. Perfect. Yes, the head. Want that prop.
Yes.
100%.
Big time.
I'd obviously
Yeah.
take any of the other Chucky dolls. It'd be fun to have the wheelchair, Nika's wheelchair.
Sure.
With removable spoke or
Yeah, for sure. Like, what's that wheelchair? No, that's my Nika wheelchair from Cult of Chucky. Please don't sit in it.
Oh, please don't touch that.
No, that's not for function. I don't know anything
Yeah.
else. I don't think there was any.
Oh,
Like,
I would take a nurse's station with included scalpel drawer.
the scalpel drawer would be
Okay,
fun.
yeah, take the whole
No.
station.
Can't complain for that. Okay, cool. Promotional popcorn bucket. You got one for this one. Different, all the different Chucky heads. You can get
Yeah,
the
for
whole
sure.
collection. Get them all, and
There you
Tiffany
go.
as well.
You could have the head of the girl who got fisted. You put your hand in there.
I mean, that's actually probably better. You can interact like they do in the movie. You can just start with
at that moment. It's happening.
Oh, good God. Oh, I love that one. Brilliant idea. And with that, we'll jump over to our ratings.
I only want your fingers.
Should we all, cut our fingers open and bleed on it?
Can you wrap your fingers around this?
I'll take a Voorhees burger and a side of Jason's fingers.
Show them.
It's time to pull out our various Chucky killing instruments, throw them at the ceiling, and let the glass fly down as we rate this film on our Chuddle scale. Shall we like to use our subjective rating scale of 0 to 5 fingers? Each cut off finger adds to the score, with more fingers equaling a higher score. Engaging, sticky, t-shirtable, cockles, rewatchable. Just a reminder for all the categories we will go through. I'm going to start with you, Sam, and then I'll go next, and then Sergio and Cody. So, how you feeling about Cult of Chucky, Sam?
That's a great question. I'm not entirely sure.
Let's find out.
I mean, I certainly didn't dislike it. I liked it, but to what degree?
Right.
We're going to do it here. Engaging. I'll give it a 1, actually. I don't recall having to force myself to pay attention or take it back or, get off my phone or anything like that. Sticky is 0.5 to be, kind to it, I feel like. I'm not sure how much of this one I will remember really at all, other than that it's the second Nika one and they're in a mental hospital.
Right.
T-shirtable. 0.5. No, I'll go 0.5, because the movie again is just kind of so, but the Chucks in it are rad. So
yeah,
I
a lot of Chuck variation.
Multiple Chuckies on the same shirt could be cool. I can picture some different cool looking shirts. I'm just still not sure I like it enough that I'm actually pull the trigger.
Right.
Cockles is also a 0.5. It doesn't do anything particularly for them. It has moments that I really like.
Sure. Especially
some of Chucky's moments in this really shine, which I guess his moments always do. And I like Nika. You know what? Maybe I like it a little more than that. I'll give it 0.75. And then rewatchable, probably 0.25.
Sure.
I'm not against watching this. It's not like I'm like, ugh, I don't want to see this. But I can't imagine any reason I would, unless it's a full Child's Play Chucky rewatch. And honestly, I don't know why I do that. I know which ones I like. I'll probably just stick to those.
Sure. Makes sense. That gives you a 3? 3.
Seems good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Love the sound of that. Jumping over to me and engaging, I am going to give it the 0.75. At points, especially in the middle, I did kind of feel myself petering out. I was wanting, especially whenever we got all the Chuckies at the end, I was like, why can't we just have more of these Chuckies? Yeah. Sticky, I'll agree. I think maybe with the 0.5. Actually, I don't know what you said, but I'll give it a 0.5 just because I think, the introduction of multiple Chuckies, that's going to stick with me at this point. Nika and her turning into Chucky, I think is going to stick. I think there's a lot of big points here that warrant the 0.5 for it in the kind of Chucky universe. T-shirtable, again, gets the 0.5, I think, because the imagery is so strong, it gets high merits for that, but it gets dropped down because how much do I want to wear the Cult of Chucky shirt type of thing. Cockles, I am going to give it the point. I'll agree with Sam. I'll give it the 0.75 because I like it for all the reasons he said, and for that, let's give it to it. Love the Chucky interactions.
Do the same thing.
Just a ditto repeat of what you were going with there. And rewatchable, 0.5. Let's give myself a 3 as well. I'll match up with Sam. Again, because I didn't have a bad time watching this movie. I didn't dislike it by any means, and the stuff I really liked. I just wanted a little bit, probably more out of it, and maybe a 3 could be a little bit high, but it feels right for me. Actually, before we jump over to you two, Ross did give us his score, so we'll just get his in here at the moment.
Cool.
Are you going to read it, Sam?
Yeah, I'll read it if you want to.
Hold on. Ross, I got it here. Hold on. There we go. I guess, please.
Oh. Okay. Engaging, 0.75. I was engaged at first by the element of body switching and multiple Chuckies, but then it started to unravel for me towards the end of the film. That's when the multiple Chuckies.
That's when
he's really strung out. All right, Sticky. This kid's a 1 because multiple Chuckies will be cemented into my mind. I'm not sure if that's a good or bad thing, but it sure is sticky. Also, having your daughter do an impression of your character must have been mind-blowing for Brad Dourif, and her performance is stickier than a double-decker peanut butter sandwich.
Nice.
T-shirtable. This one is going to get a 0.25. These Chuckies are far better than Curse, but if I'm going for a Child's Play shirt, it would be at the bottom of the list. A multiple Chucky shirt killing someone at the same time is tempting, but I don't want to explain why there are multiple Chuckies killing someone on my shirt, unless the explanation is fully written on the back of the shirt. Shit, I might actually wear that. Bump it up to a 0.5.
That's a good point, though. That's a good point.
Cockles. So for Cockles is going to get a 0.25. I like the idea of multiple Chuckies, and for the first half, I was really into it. Then I feel like after the gag wore itself thin, and I was half expecting everyone to just be Chucky. Which is so funny because we don't have multiple Chuckies yet. Then I feel like the gag wore itself thin. I felt like everyone was just going to be a Chucky. I did like the pump fake with the imposter Michael, but not enough to keep the engines revving. Rewatchable is also going to get a 0.25. I feel like I would watch this as a completionist setting, but it's not cheesy like Bride or Seed, and I don't think it's serious like Curse or the first two. It's in a sequel limbo of not knowing if it's camp or cruel and makes it kind of hard to watch multiple times. That makes it a 2.5. Might bump up on re-ratings, feel good where it's at. Glad to see the idea about the multiple Chuckies finally happening. But dare I say it was too much of a good thing?
No, because it wasn't too much. I wanted more of those double Chuckies, and he's wrong. It's a 2.75. He does correct himself.
Yeah, then he followed up in a separate text and said, well, it's 2.75 because the t-shirt.
So, thank you, Ross. 2.75. Now, Sergi, your turn.
Sergi.
It's me.
Sergi.
It's my time. Engaging. I am going to give it a 0.5. I think it gets really good towards the end where everything is kind of coming to fruition, but I do struggle kind of keeping my focus and concentration on the movie for a good part of it. Sticky, I think there's a lot more that stuck with me than I thought, even though I'm not that engaged with it, but it did stick with me. But again, it's the ending stuff. Like I remember like the several Chuckies, the Fiona Dourif coming into Chucky.
Yeah,
of course.
Coming into her. That's where we get all the big deaths.
All the big deaths. That whole thing I kind of like remembered. So, but I'm still gonna give it a 0.5 because I feel like that's not enough to give it that whole 1. T-shirtable 0.5 again. There's not a lot that I want to wear from this except for maybe just the head of Chucky from the beginning. And just like you guys, I think wearing a Cult of Chucky shirt isn't my most favorite. Like, I want to wear that and parade around. Yeah. It's Cockles, also going to give it a 0.5. It's not my favorite. It's not something that I'm gonna have me motivated to watch. But when it's like rewatchable, I'm gonna give it a 0.25 because I do know my favorites, and I'm not gravitating toward this. And that's
do you
me.
know what that gives you?
What? I don't
2.25.
2.25?
Yeah.
Yes.
Woo! Wow. Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah, we are finally keeping track, but we only have your Curse currently.
Curse
and
of
that
Chucky.
was higher. I'm certain this is the lowest you've come in on.
I think so. Maybe,
right?
maybe I'm
I'll have
losing
them all
three.
together for when we do our retrospective.
Maybe I'm losing steam with it, but I don't know.
No,
Which we
it's
gotta
understandable. Cody.
All right. So for engaging, I'm going to give this a 0.5. I enjoyed watching the movie, but it wasn't really a standout. And, I think I was near the middle of like some movies really draw me in. This wasn't it.
Mm-hmm.
Sticky, I'm going to give this a 0.5. And it's sort of because I don't want to spoil anything, but there are some aspects that come up in the show and are referenced. So I'm gonna give it that, because I did say after we watched it, man, I wish I had known this before we went into the show. So
sure.
I'm gonna give it a 0.5 for that reason. T-shirtable, I'm gonna give this one a 0.5 also. I think the two t-shirt designs, because my favorite part of doing these episodes with y'all is trying to figure out what my t-shirt design would be like. I want some sort of t-shirt. I'm almost imagining like that Queen Bohemian Rhapsody cover, but with the Chucky heads instead.
Ooh, that's good.
That's cute.
One.
And I'm also thinking you could do a more like artistic, like Cult of Chucky with the headless body of what's her name with
Claire?
the snow coming down through the roof of Claire.
I can see that.
Nice.
So those are my two t-shirts. Cockles, I'm gonna give a 0.5 specifically for Fiona Dorff's impression of Chucky. That's the entire category of cockles. Rewatchable, I'm gonna give this one I kind of want to give it a 0.
Oh,
I mean, I'll give it 0.25. Because I think a 0 is I would refuse to rewatch this movie.
Sure.
A 0.25
Because you're pretty much saying
like,
you'll never watch this movie ever again. Which if it's on,
I think that we are probably never going to watch this movie again. Yeah, I'm not opposed to watching it. I'm not avoiding it specifically, but I'm ambivalent, and I think that I would be okay and with like my life ending only ever having seen this movie once. So,
sure, of course.
At this time, yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna give that a 0.25. So that puts me at a 2.25, I think.
You guys both scored it exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
does that feel right to you guys?
It feels right to me.
It feels right, but I'm sad about it.
You know what? It's not right, but it's okay.
There you go.
I think it's Sam and I just like some Fiona Dorff.
For sure.
Nobody can blame you for that.
That's a big driving force.
We love. I think it's also just because like this. I personally love the first season of the Chucky series, so I just know that there's a lot of it that warms my heart.
Sure,
I appreciate a little bit Carrie's in this movie.
Cool,
right?
Cool. Well, we had one club member popping in. Travis Maxwell Boone, the witch doctor of doom himself, has a comment and score for this one. Engaging, he gives a 1. After the great surprise and return to form that was Curse, I was super excited for Cult, and its overall weirdness kept me fully engaged. Cool. Sticky, 0.75. I remember a bunch of scenes, a few kills, and a few twists. I know with another watch, it would get even stickier. T-shirt, 1. I'd like a shirt with all the Chucky variants on it, laughing like Dr. Evil and the gang from Austin Powers. That's fun.
Oh.
Cockles, 1. Don Mancini knows just how to work it. Rewatchable, 0.5. While I enjoyed it thoroughly, I've only seen it once. It's due for a rewatch, and I definitely plan to. 4.25 out of 5 feels good, if maybe a tad generous, but my overall feeling after seeing it was jazzed about the film and anticipating the next chapter in the Chucky saga. My prop is the giant hallucinatory Chucky doll. You'd make for a great Halloween yard decor. Yeah, who am I kidding? He'd be there year round. And at the midnight show, he's throwing a wheelchair at the screen. Just fucking a whole bunch of wheelchairs, I guess. So thanks, Tibu. That's all we had here coming in. So Club gives it a high score, 4.5 from Club average. Well, I guess with your guys' Club average, so it puts it around probably around a 3 or something like that. Now, yeah. Chuddle score, though. Let me pull that up real quick. 2.9. Okay. How does that sit with other things here? That's right below Curse of Chucky with a 3.0. Literally a 0.1 differential, which is
wow.
It's so Ross gave Curse of Chucky a 2.75. I gave Curse a 3.75. Sam gave it a 2.5. So that's a little higher, a little lower, balances out to that 3.0. And that sits right in the same kind of range. So above it, at other 3.0s, we have Black Sabbath, Friday the 13th OG. Right below it, Willy's Wonderland, Possession, Dash Cam, No One Will Save You as well. Wow. So that's all our scores and everything. We'll come in.
There we go.
Next time. So you guys are going to join us for the retrospective, right?
That's it.
So we're gonna come back.
Is that going to be a patron exclusive or a regular app?
I was thinking it was a regular episode, but who knows? Maybe it will be Patreon exclusive. We'll figure it out. And if you don't see it, join the Patreon. Either way, join the Patreon. But we're going to sit back together and kind of go back and discuss all these, look at our rankings, talk about our ratings, how they kind of all fit together, see if that all feels good.
The franchise.
What our scores gave. Yeah. Does that feel like our top score? Does it all
I just
work
can't
for
believe
us? Can we talk about Fiona Dora more?
How many movies is that? How many movies is that? Seven.
This was
so we did seven movie. This was the longest franchise we've done.
Yes.
Yeah, because before that we did
Final Destination was 6.
Final Destination.
No, 5. 6 is coming. Yep.
Yeah.
And
then
Wreck
before that, but we didn't really do.
We didn't do Wreck.
Wreck. We did Quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We did it. That was when we first got together. So. Like I said, I want to do Wreck before we start our next franchise.
That's fair.
We'll figure all that out.
Yeah.
Sure.
Wild. Proud of us.
I still haven't seen Wreck.
I don't think you have either.
Nope. I have not seen Wreck.
Well, we can venture into that world, but thank you guys so much for doing this with us. It's always a fun journey.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys.
Yeah, seriously.
You know we love you. We love everyone who listens to this.
Love you.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you for having us back every single time talking about Chucky.
Hell yeah, man. Where can people get at you? They should know by now.
You can call me at no, I'm kidding. Imagine. Give me a text.
For a good time.
For a good time
call.
139-820-8004. What was it? Mike Jones had wrapped his phone number.
Oh, okay.
I'm surprised you didn't do the IT crew number. Don't do it.
301-18999-88199-9119-725.
There you go.
I remember that number. Awesome. You're gonna get emergency services on the line. Yes, but for you guys,
you can find us on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
You can find us. We just reached 50K subscribers over there, which is wild.
Yeah.
Which kind of I love that we're covering Chucky because Chucky, this TV series, was one of our first videos that we did on the channel, and that was back when we had maybe 60 subscribers or something like that at the point.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah. So then
awesome.
After that, it kind of skyrocketed, and it was really, really fun. So that if you want to continue that, we do watch Chucky over there, so we have those reactions.
Do so.
Absolutely, you should do that.
But yeah, anything else I'm missing?
Your podcast
I don't think so.
is back.
We're the Horror Bandwagon everywhere.
Yes, we are back with the podcast officially. It's bi-weekly. We're going to be putting out bi-weekly episodes. And our next one, we're talking about Alien, and then we're going to be talking about Speak No Evil, which is a movie we just watched and have a lot to talk about.
I cannot wait to watch that reaction.
Thoughts were thought.
Oh, it was a ride, and I don't want to spoil it, but
are you guys gonna see the new one, the remake?
I do. I think I want to watch it. Do you want to watch it? I will say this situation in that movie will be mostly his fault.
Excuse me.
We said it in the reaction.
I would say the precursor to the situation in that movie, I'm probably a little more guilty of, but I'd like to think that I have enough danger senses to get us out of there before shit hits the fan.
Certainly.
But if you had that beefy McAvoy coming at you.
See, that's a whole.
See, that's more his realm then.
Oh, you're right. That will be my fault.
Well, thank you guys so much. That I love it. Go follow them at everywhere they said, and look in the show notes. We'll have links down below. This is going to go ahead and conclude.
We'll be back for another franchise.
Yeah, hopefully, if they want to continue, we'll keep having them and go on with this. And I think we already said we are and figured out what we're doing next. So we talked about something at some point. Anyway, we're out of here. Everything's done. Thank you so much. Don't forget to follow us. Jump into our Discord. Follow at Chuddle the Sam and Chuddle the Bryan on our letterboxes. And all that kind of shit.
No.
Follow Ross.
Oh no.
At Ross Purvis on Instagram. And oh my god, it's been a late night and we're getting to the end of it, and I am a tired boy. So I'm gonna get us out of here. Thanks a lot. Until next time, avoid the time loop.